Hello and welcome to Trucking Answers Live. It's Monday, Christmas Eve. Welcome, everybody. I see everybody is here already. I didn't know if anybody'd be around. You'd all be home. You're stuck at a truck stop. Don't know. Can anybody hear me? I got this new microphone on. Is this all going good here? So let's hope that all works out. For those of you that don't know, I have a screen down here. That's why I keep looking down. I'm not trying to ignore you. All right. So that's the way it is today. So as I get this other screen set up so I can see everybody's comments. Who was here first? Edgar is here first today. Thanks, Edgar. U-Haul, what's happening out there today? Josh is here. Mark, thank you for coming in. Hey, Startup, happy holidays. Merry Christmas from a truck stop in Pennsylvania. Wow, are you going to... will you be spending the Christmas at that truck stop? That isn't any good. Wow, Bill. Well, Bill, happy holidays to you. I should say Trooper Rage, right, is at the truck stop. Kim is here. Merry Christmas for coming in. Hope everybody had a good Festivus yesterday, by the way. Let's see. Trucker Hershey was on a 34 till Wednesday. They called to drop your trailer and get one from a driver that broke down. Yeah, I broke down around the holiday. That's awesome. Want me to reconsider the rap thing? No, do now. How to spell rap correctly? I'll see the C is silent. Yes. Listening while you're driving? Yes, that's good. Not typing, I hope. Monique from South Carolina. Hello. Jody from Oklahoma. Everybody's out from around the country today. I didn't know where everybody would be today. Martin, Brad, Merry Christmas, everybody. BAT Stevens, still a rookie driver. All right, that will end. Yeah, my screen freezes. I'm right across the street from a mall, so I'm near the mall. And at Christmas time, there's millions of people shopping, so I know I'm gonna have screen problems today. So we're all trying to share the same thing here. It just seems to happen that way. They go, "Oh, that isn't a problem." It seems to be the problem. Ryan, missed my last two live feed videos. Who do I need to turn my CDL in? Yeah, you just mail it back to the state. And you have to start over from the beginning. You missed two, it's out. It's like missing two federal elections. Famous Abe, Merry Christmas from Minnesota, all around the country. Anyone from international here today? You got to learn hands-on every now and then. Yeah, I don't know. You got towed to the dealership yesterday. Will you be spending the holiday at the dealership? I know they have lovely Christmas cookies for everyone there, I'm sure. Anything about Cooper Freight? No, I don't know anything about Cooper Freight out of Memphis. A lot of these little places down there don't do great, though, really. M. Gomez from the Merry Christmas from the road. Will you be getting home or do you want to get home? That's the question. Festivus, Kim, was great. We, of course, had Meatloaf and then the airing of grievances. And then people had to wrestle me for control of the Festivus poll. So that was a lot of fun. Oh, there we go. Merry Christmas from the UK. Nice. Ivona just got home for Christmas. Good. When do you go back out? That's the question. Fast Joe is giving a specific birthday to Jesus. That's nice. Matthew from Boston. Hello. Aniston, Alabama. Frankie. That's where Jennifer Aniston is from. They named the town after. People don't know that. Sierra England winning the Craft Company. Oh, that's right. I thought I would tell the live feed how that's going. I haven't posted that anywhere. Currently, CRST is in the lead. How about that? CRST is in the lead for Craft Company of the Year. So that's how it's going right now. And more votes than I thought, getting a couple thousand votes in there so far. But CRST is currently winning. England took the early lead, but CRST couldn't have anything to do with that. And so CRST has caught up and they're currently winning right now. Billy, Merry Christmas from North Carolina. Oh, you go back out the day after Christmas? At least you got the Christmas off. Fast Joe's in New Mexico, but at least it's warmer there. Eric votes US Express. They're up in the top 5. They are. They could still win it. Anybody can pull it off. And I had a long vote. I don't know if I'll do that again this long, but I already posted the date, so I guess we'll go to the 31st with it. Probably the next ones will be, a few days or whatever, because I'm going to do it each quarter, because there were 21 companies on there this year. So Frankie's off 13 days. Yikes. That's awesome. Ed, Merry Christmas from Kansas City. Thanks. Oh, you enjoyed the blog. Thank you. Thanks for putting that out there. That's truckinganswersnation.com/blog. I write a blog too. Most days, 4 to 5 days a week, I also write a blog. So your company gave you 4 days off, Edgar. That's awesome. Good. Should get some time off. We work hard enough all year. It's about time to get a little bit of time off. Gerald's checking in from Southern California. Yeah, Merry warm Christmas to you. Raz, after obtaining your CDL and finish training as a solo driver, how long should you stay out before your home time? That's up to you. I mean, how long do you want to stay out? Right? You can get companies that get you out for a year. You can stay out the whole year, or you can get back. You got to determine how long you want to be out and then find a company that will comply with that. You set your time, because otherwise companies will keep you out forever. They usually want you to stay out for months is what they'd prefer. So it just depends. Ryan O'Ryan is here. Merry Christmas. How's the new truck going? Rains and Sons is out of their minds. That's correct. Jeff said CRST is #1 in something. That's the only thing they're going to be the best at. Plus the best at putting a number of people in a room. Brindis, you have lots of time off because you're unemployed. Hey, this is the place to go, right? In 3 weeks, you can have a job. So no problem. See, BAT, you love being out. So for you, being out, it's perfect. Just depends what you want. Stay out. If you love it, stay out. Don't do stuff you don't like. Life's too short for that. I can't believe, 30 some years have already passed by for me. It's incredible. You stayed out 5.5 weeks on your first solo run. I had a local job for a little bit, my first job, and then I went over the road, but I was home every weekend at a flatbed company, or I would say 48 weekends out of the year. It just depends, though. You voted for Western because they're bad, because you worked there before. I agree, Edgar, and they're also up in the top also. Is Schneider bad? I don't know about that. I wouldn't, they just had a program, which they just ended, in Indianapolis. Schneider had a program. It was actually a refresher program, but say you'd been out of the industry. They gave you the refresher and no contract. So they paid for everything with no contract for everyone. And that's the first I've ever seen a place do that. So I got to give them credit for that. They have ended it at the moment. But who else has given you a training and no contract? We had no obligation at the end of it. I looked into it. There was no obligation. It was a short time thing, but it's over. But that's not bad. NSK Pool, Merry Christmas to you and Happy Festivus. Hope everyone enjoyed their Festivus yesterday. You wanted to go home for a couple days, but running till hard and be running hard till February when you go on vacation. Yeah, I mean, if that's in for you, do it. Get rolling. Wintertime, people don't like rolling in the winter, so if you're willing to roll, they should give you miles. Jody says CRST keeps asking you to join them. Yeah, there's always a truck available for you, Jody. I mean, you can join the Gold Rush. And they're first at something. Remember that. You can tell them, hey, you guys are first at being the worst, which rhymed, by the way. John Christer should be the top crap company. They didn't get into the crap company of the week, though, yet. So it was only for people I did for crap company of the week. They're being sued by enough people. They got enough problems without me piling onto them. What's going on with the new ELD rules? Yeah, I guess I should talk about what I actually said I would talk about in this. The electronic log rules are not going to be changed until next year, early next year. They're talking March now to talk about that. But people always say, it takes too long to get your thing. All right, so California break rule. Right now, if you work in California, you have to have a mandatory rest break, a mandatory paid rest break, mandatory lunch breaks, and all this. It's California only. FMCSA came out this week and said, done. And I know some of you have commented, at least if not in here, have written to me and said, yeah, you benefit from these break rules. Not anymore, you don't. FMCSA said companies do not have to follow California break rules anymore. So if you are currently in California or under where you're getting these California meal and rest breaks that are paid, that ended. And he said it ended immediately. So those days for you are over. Go back to unpaid time. And the ATA came out and said, oh, we love this. Now we don't have to pay drivers for this. They actually said safety. Oh, it's all about safety because it's safety. But no, it wasn't about safety. Anything the ATA likes, you always know there's some kind of problem. So, that was always bad. So, but those breaks, the paid breaks are over. Oh, Wild Bill has brought up an interesting question which just popped up here. Who do I drive for? Yeah, I don't say who I drive for, Wild Bill. You may new to the show. But for everyone else that's here, right, I don't ever talk about who I drive for. That keeps them out of my videos. So they don't have a say in my videos. And unlike so many people on YouTube, right, I don't recruit for my company. I don't know. I can hardly find a driver that's not saying, here's my number or whatever, do my company. I don't do that. Okay, and we have a pretty good recruiting bonus here, and I don't do it. That's their job to recruit. I'm out of it. That keeps me sane and keeps them out of my videos. So that's how I do it with them. JB, you drive every day, no days off, and make $500 a week. Nicholas, that's not great. That's also hard to believe that, you know, you're grossing $500 a week. I can't, unless you're a trainee, I can't really find anybody paying, you know, $500 a week. CDL alerter permits are extended to 1.5 years. They were extended to a year. They're going to allow states to extend their permit. This was on Overdrive this week as well. CDL permits will be extended to 1 year, but that's not that big of a change because, like the FMCSA said, many states allowed you to renew it. It was 6 months, but you could renew it for 6 more months. So you still could get a year. What they're doing now is just making it a year to start with. If the states want to do it, I don't think that's really that big of a change. You just won't have to go to renew it. It may actually save you money. And who keeps their permit really that long? I don't think many people keep it. So yeah, North Carolina had a 9-month permit. So it really isn't that much of a change from the way it used to be. That isn't, they made some articles made that out to be a big deal. I don't think that's that big of a deal. A brand new rail driver, DIY Guys Tools. Yeah, well, what do you think over there? And are you under that program where they pay you to be in training? Currently, Kim does 3 weeks out and 3 weeks home, right? No, probably 3 days home. That's still, if that works for you. What matters is does it work for you? Not, you know, should they give you what works for you? They give 5 days off for Christmas and pay you $125 for Christmas Day. So you get a holiday. If Christmas Day is a paid holiday, that's excellent. I still say that's okay, right? Better than a lot of places that don't pay anything. College Station, Texas checking in. Everybody's in the South. Who's up in North Dakota today? Gold Rush, Ivona, yes, that's correct. Join the Gold Rush, kind of a joke. You haven't tried Schneider's load board yet. I'd be interested to know what are their rates on their load board, if you could pull it up. What do you think? Western called you many times to go back for work for them, Edgar. With all these companies I've called, I mean, I can't tell you the calls and emails and everything. These companies just won't leave you alone. They don't give up. Rand McNally, all the way better than Garmin. I'm stuck on Google Maps, right? I don't use a truck-specific GPS, never have. Not a fan. The one that we use, Garmin, actually, is what is built into our trucks. And it's horrible. I will give you that. I wouldn't follow it with a car, much less a truck. Because I tried it just versus a car Google Maps. It's horrible. Edgar, what a stupid law. Yeah, right. The problem was it was a single state with that law. And so some people got the money, some people didn't. Not a fan. What companies allow you to idle and have an inverter? Yeah, each company is specific. None of them really let you idle too long. Everybody's going to an APU now. You'll be completing truck school in a few weeks, says SS. Looking at Schneider, Prime, and Stevens. Ugh. Which one pays the best? Well, out of those three, probably Schneider. You know, Stevens, forget it. They wouldn't even talk to me, man. I have a video about Prime and Stevens, which you can go watch. Not a fan of either of those. Is percentage better than mileage pay? I have always said I'm a fan of mileage pay, only because I don't know what I'm going to get under percentage pay. You know, I don't know if they're hosing me on the pay. They say I get whatever, 40, 30%, it doesn't matter, of an amount. How do I know that amount is legitimate? How do I know they're not skimming off the top? At least on mileage, I know I'm getting this much for this many miles. I know what I'm going to get because I'm always afraid of being hosed. That's what I think of the percentage. You know, a lot of people like percentage. Remember, if the rates go down, you got a problem too. So, and you can't control what rate the company seems to get. So the company says, okay, we're going to take this load for 90 cents a mile and you get 30%. That's 30 cents a mile. So you can't control that. I don't like that. I don't like it. Ryan O'Ryan. Yes, it is a top secret mystery company. Rand McNally dash cam is phenomenal. Yeah, I'm going to have to try it. I've got, if any of you are on my Instagram, I posted a picture. I'm testing a Falconite trucker dash cam. It's specifically listed as a trucker dash cam. I'll tell you what, right now, not a huge fan of it. At night, it barely has any kind of vision on it. So I don't know about that. We'll have to see how it goes. Yeah, Schneider's better than the other two, exactly. Don't do Prime, they'll make you go out 2 months and pay you peanuts. Right, exactly. Teaming, oh, right, and the Prime team thing, forget it. The trainer goes in the sleeper, and you are teaming. That's not training. I could train people here while I go to sleep then. That's ridiculous. Maverick is a great company, says Frankie. I agree. I added some words in there. Yours, Kim's expired. Schneider, right. I think Schneider has a lot of opportunities. And I really like the idea that they, they had this free training. That's really something. It's the first place I've ever seen that. You're a new driver with Werner and could say I'm not. You're very impressed. I've heard from other people here from Werner, if they want to comment, they can. But, Werner is one of these companies that has a lot of dedicated freight. All these large companies have dedicated freight, and that seems to be where everybody gets to be the happiest. Go to a large place, get on a dedicated run, and then really I hear no more complaints from people. So no problem. I want to idle my truck. I'm a professional driver and the captain of the ship, and the ship should run when you're in it. It does if you own the ship. That's the thing. When you are a professional driver, somebody else owns your ship, and so they get to determine what they do with their ship. And then we just say, I'm not going to captain your ship. That's the problem with that. You read that being a truck driver is more dangerous than being a police officer. Yet these companies only seem to want to cheat the driver, like your job means nothing. I totally agree. Trucking is more dangerous because more drivers die on the job. They die from accidents, generally strains, something falls on them. It isn't that they're being killed, although some are, certainly. Not to discount that. And so a lot of drivers die on the job. Absolutely. It's dangerous. Many drivers get hurt, sometimes due to their own fault and sometimes due to poor equipment. But absolutely, it's dangerous. And they don't want to pay us. But we can't accept the no pay. When I see a driver, it's different if it's a new driver and they don't know. But then I'll get a driver that says, I've been driving for 10 years or 20 years. And I've been sitting here. I sat 25 hours last week without pay. And I'm like, why are you doing that? You cannot do that. You have to be able to change what you do. So you got to just kind of take it yourself and change what you're doing. And I'm behind here. I have a Garmin 785. How much is a Garmin 785? What does that cost, right? $300-400? That's what I assume, right? Google Maps plus common sense is free and effective. Balance cast. Exactly. Right. I satellite view the place to look for docks, see which entrance it is, which driveway I need to go in. I call them, which is easy to do now. You used to go to the Flying J and get out your phone card from Sprint, your FON card. You don't have to do that anymore. Call them. How do I get in? Google Maps, which is constantly updated. Take a little common sense and you got it made. It costs you nothing. Bill, okay, you have to talk to me next week. I'm available next week and every day around. What's the topic in California, Jim? Yeah, what I was saying about that is California has special meal and rest breaks for employees, including truck drivers in California. So truck drivers were getting paid meals and rest breaks. No more. FMCSA came out and said, I don't think so. We're going to do a federal exemption here of over that. We're over you. We're the boss of you. So everybody in California that was getting those paid meal and rest breaks, believe me, companies, as soon as they hear about this, they're not going to pay you anymore. They can. They're just not going to. So all that money that you're getting, which can be a lot for some people every day, this paid break, done. Tom got 45 cents at Schneider and got left sitting. Man, that isn't any good. From what is percentage in the market, we have another recession, your pay goes down. That's always the problem with percentage, is anytime a rate goes down, you get a lower rate. That's why I don't like it. If you get a flat mileage, they're going to pay me that mileage. It's their problem to go get a higher paying load. Schneider has great options. I agree. A large company has a lot of options. You don't like what you're doing, you can go do something else. It's almost like you're changing jobs, but you don't lose all your benefits. You're still at the same company. Can't believe even the truck driver shortage made it on NBC. Oh, nice. On the Today Show. I didn't see that. Wish people would appreciate we do more. Yes. Every time they take something off the shelves. Yeah, exactly. The shortage. I didn't know they were talking about that on NBC. Let's see. A ton of dock time and reefer. It depends. As long as you get the percentage, the detention time. Like somebody asked about Martin. Martin has this automatic detention time pay, you know, that where you get in the dock and you get paid. So I really like that. And they have really, you know, a pretty good place. Looked around at it, you know, so the pay there and that, pretty good. Companies treat us like unskilled factory workers. Yes, but we allow ourselves to be treated like unskilled factory workers by sitting for free. Oh, garments are $500. Whew. That's a lot. It's tax deductible, presumably. Ask your tax professional. That's a lot of money. I mean, is it? Do you get it? You getting any more information that you get from Google Maps? Enough of it where it's worth $500, you know, for this thing. Heard a story about some company made a driver's wife to get his body. Yeah, that happens. If you die on the road, although the company should send you home, they probably don't have any legal obligation to, which is sad. Any decent place would send your body home. Truckers Final Mile, which is a charity, would help with that. If that ever happens to any of you or your spouse, I guess if it happened to you, you wouldn't be able to call because you're dead. But whoever's left alive could call them, and they also assist with that type of thing. Truckers Final Mile, check them out. It's hard to add an ELD to an older truck. No, it just plugs in the thing underneath the truck, from what I understand. Ours are wired in direct because they come that way, but older truck just plugs in the data port underneath the truck. And that thing has power, it powers it and everything. That's how I've seen people do it. As long as the truck has an electronic engine, it should plug in that port underneath the dashboard. What do I think about Indian River? Yeah, I haven't looked in it. I'm going to look into Indian River. It's on my board for this week, but I haven't looked into them. People are iffy about it. I will tell you, somebody has wrote to me just today, right, or over the weekend, from a company called CTL, which is in Florida. So really impressed there. 55 cents for students at CTL, hauling tankers. Not bad for somebody right out of truck school. And then a 7-cent raise in your first year. So pretty good for somebody just starting. And that's out of Florida. I know people are always looking for Florida places. So, John, am I local? Yes, I'm home every day now. I had to switch out earlier this year to maintain trucking answers. I had to make a decision. Yeah, so I go home every day. Oakley make 200 plus a year. That's not great if you have truck payments, I don't think. ATA, why don't they call it the Trucking Companies Owners Association? Ivona. Oh, because they have the Truckload Carriers Association, and so it's too close of a name, they'd probably get in trouble. But yeah, it has nothing to do with, we're for drivers, baloney. What about WFX? What is WFX? It's easy to hire them. Yeah, these companies, keeping them is the trick. Some of these companies go through hundreds of people a week. It's crazy. When you see busloads of people coming in, and 4 of them last, that's ridiculous. You went 3 weeks without pay at US Express because they didn't fully assign my truck to me. What does that mean when they're not fully assigned to you? Werner's an excellent company to start with. You have 4 to 6 weeks of right seat riding to learn the route and requirements and verify your knowledge. Then they sing you out good. As long as they're not team training, you know, as they call it, team training, which I could do from here or from anywhere. I could just FaceTime 40 students at a time and just get a bonus from each of them. Look at Oakley's turnover rate. Yeah, that's an interesting thing to ask a company when you call them. What's your turnover rate? Let's see. Check out Americo Carriers, owner-operators only. So what's the rates there at Americo? Have I looked at Dart? Now, no, a lot of people ask about Dart. Dart is, when you look at Dart, I look at different cities for Dart. They seem to be doing different things, like there's some type of logistics company all over the country. So like in Indianapolis, they're advertising one thing, and somewhere else they're advertising something else. So they're kind of do a bunch of logistics, so they're hard to pin down. Yeah, thanks for the shout out for CTL. Yeah, you know, I think that's a great program that they have there. 62 cents after 1 year for a student, 55 cents. I mean, they had all this per diem was optional, and it's a Florida-based company. So thank you for, pointing them out to me. I think it's really great. That's 25 cents more than Pam for somebody with the same amount of experience. Think about that, everybody. A quarter a mile just by choosing a different company with the same experience. That's really something. WFX is out of Oklahoma City. Oh, there's a couple other places around there that don't do great. There seems to be pockets of places around the country where all the horrible companies come for one time. I don't understand it. David Miller. Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Oh, Eric, ask him how many people are in orientation. That's good too. Yeah, they can lie. Well, they can lie about the turnover. I agree, but they could lie about how many people are in orientation too, I guess, right? So I guess they could lie about all that. You may not have a solution to that. And someone will say they don't know it, the recruiter, which probably is true. UPS Freight owner-operator looking for a driver. How much should you pay? So you're the owner looking for a driver, or they are the owner, somebody else is an owner. And it's got to be W-2, no 1099, or I'm out right on the top of it. Most companies are liars. Yeah, Edgar, that's the thing of it. You just never know. So they go, oh, we do 10 people a week, and then 40 show up. You just don't know, right? It's really hard to know. Fast Joe Corrigan, thank you very much. That's very much appreciated. You have 24 years with FedEx. You're the bottom third of seniority. That's good. It's terrible for you, but it means something about the job. That's correct. Yeah, that's an interesting thing. Well, of course, so you must be on some type of seniority board, but that's great news. If no one leaves, that's really great. So you're at a good place. You're just in a bad place at a good place. And you probably still make more than most places as it is. Starting on the 8th, orientation. Oh, okay, right. Yeah, so let us know how that goes. I'm really curious because you never know, what place says. Are they really paying you the 55 cents? I mean, that's really good. And they had, CTL did have jobs at other places. It's part of this Comcar, group of companies. They even had local jobs. So they had local, road, they had everything. The local job didn't pay as much. So probably those were kind of low, but 55 cents per student, where are you getting that kind of money? BAT Stevens, boy, thank you very much. It's flowing out today. I super appreciate it. DART pays drivers more when they live in upper states than they pay drivers in Florida. I don't like the split pay like that. They say they do that because of living, not conditions, but cost. Cost of living is less, so they pay you less. I don't like it. What if you move? Well, I guess they'd raise your pay. Sandra, Merry Christmas. Thank you. Merry Christmas over there. Keep it in the road. Okay, and thank you very much. Next year will be even better. When you were training at USX, which is US Express, your trainer sat up front the whole time. Good. Well, wait a minute. For the first week. Then he sat up the most of the time. Then he sat in the bunk and watched me. I don't like it. They should be up. They should be up. Because who knows what he's doing back there. We just don't know. Edgar, I appreciate that, Edgar. Thanks a lot. Mark, you're in Mexico. What are you doing in Mexico? We don't take loads of Mexico. Or are you just visiting down there? Okay, you never did team driver driving. All right. As long as he's up the whole time, he should be awake. I have always said the trainer should have to log on duty time while the student is driving. That solves the team training problem. If the company considers you a student, the trainer should be required to log on duty time. Simple. If he's getting training pay, that solves the whole problem. Companies would have a fit about that. They'd flop on the ground like fish if they had to do that. Do I think Landstar or Traveloco is good? I don't know about Traveloco. Landstar, I saw their load board a few years ago when I was at the Mid-America Truck Show. They had a live load board up, and you could look at all the loads. And I thought that was great. You could pick from the whole amount of loads that they had every load. And you knew right away what the load paid, how much fuel it paid, any extra money like, oh, this pays $100 of tolls or whatever it was. And you knew it right up front and could pick any load in the entire country. So I did like that system. If Traveloco does the same thing, then it'd probably be just as good. I hope they're there with their load board, although I'm not promising that because I haven't heard it, for the truck show. which is at the end of March, and I hope you'll all be there. And I have a links page now at truckinganswersnation.com. Helpful Links, very clever name. Anyhow, you can go there, and the link to the truck show is there. Click on it. It takes you right to the page, and just register and get your tickets. B.A.T. Stevens, thank you very much. I appreciate you being here today. Right, Ivona, you pay sometimes like you live in this area and make this much, right? Unless it's over the road. Yeah, look, I don't like it. They should pay, not, because you live where that costs less. Well, what, I don't want to live in a shack somewhere, right? Pay me some money, come on. They don't get a cut on the thing is, the company doesn't say, oh, well, the driver picking up this load lives in a hut in Tennessee with an outhouse and no electricity. So we're only going to take it. We'll take it for 63 cents a mile. Okay, they don't do that. They get the same money. They're just they're making more profit on somebody because they live in an area that costs less. That's ridiculous. With all the horror stories regarding green drivers signing on with mega carriers, is it worth it? Yeah, it's always worth it. I mean, it'd be worth it even at the worst company. At least you get your CDL and can get out of there. And the horror stories from the new drivers, the green drivers, as they say, is because they're not being trained. What should happen is the whole training thing should be revised. But these companies, which are ATA companies, are not going to allow that to happen. Travel Local likes to lease their trucks. Yeah, okay, Edgar, I didn't know that. So no, I'm not a fan of that. Leasing the truck, especially if you're leasing it from your carrier, no. You got to own the truck yourself. Joshua's going to try to be there. All right, I hope to see you down there. Tickets are free, but get your tickets in advance for the truck show. If you show up there, it's $10. So if you even think you're going to go, order tickets in advance. Kentucky Trucker is ready for Mats. Good, we're going to see you down there. Okay, Monvec Kid, Happy New Year. Oh, you're off for Christmas. See you next year. Remember, from the UK. Oh, nice. All right, well, thanks for being here from across the other side of the planet. And we will see you next year. I'll be live next Monday as well. Hassan, what's up with the ATA? They're horrible. That's what's up with them. Okay, not even my own. Right, exactly. FedEx has a bunch of airplanes. Yeah, I don't know if you can lease those. That'd be something. Purchase an airplane from FedEx. Cubango, right, thank you very much. And thanks for the tip on that place. I appreciate it. Merry Christmas to you. Thanks for coming in. Can you bring your own truck? I don't know. I assume it's an owner-operator place, so you would be bringing your own truck to Traveloco, right? I didn't know they lease trucks, and I'm never a fan of that. You never make any money leasing a truck. You see a lot of guys on YouTube that drive for that company. Yeah, that doesn't necessarily mean it's good or bad, I guess. But how are they doing? Are they making some money? Leased on there, do they get home time? Do they get paid for their time? Rates, that kind of thing. I'm just never a fan of leasing a truck. I think at the end of the year, if you lease the truck, I don't think you make any more than a good company driver can make now, if you compared evenly with all the benefits. What's the ATA brake deal on court? Oh, so you're behind. Okay, Mark, what they did in California, the ATA finally won this. California used to have a meal and rest break paid, as I say, from drivers. So you got your meal break paid and a rest break, okay, in California drivers. Done. They finally got it finished. So, and I know a couple of drivers have written to me and said, oh, they're getting less pay, but they get these paid breaks. That's not going to happen anymore. They're done. So the meal break, rest break for California alone, FMCSA just overruled them and said immediately that ends, and companies will stop paying it. So that's the end of it. The paid meal and rest breaks for California drivers is over. And you can thank the ATA for that. They've been fighting it for a long time because of safety. Apparently, if they pay you for a meal break, you're an unsafe driver. So they fought it and won. They fought the law and they won. You got your package today. All right. That's awesome. That took forever. And I couldn't help that. But I'm glad, and I hope you enjoy the headset. Compliments of Blue Parrot. You lease a truck from the company, made $114,000. Yeah, but if you bought all the benefits that a good company driver has and took all the time off, would you make any more than you could just being a company driver with zero risk? That's the real question. Because we have company drivers making 100 grand here, you know, without any risk with full benefits that, you know, so it just depends. Like I have 5 weeks a year off, which you'd have to take, pay your truck payment, pay yourself, pay all your insurance for those 5 weeks. Just that will cost a fortune if you own the truck, not to mention the year of all the other insurances and stuff. So it's really tough to justify that. And look, I think if you own the truck, you should make more. You're taking a big risk. You should make double probably of a company driver. So that 200, that 100 ought to be 200 at the end of the year, taxable, because you've taken a huge risk. Because when you break down, you just break down. When I break down, they tow a truck to me and I continue to make money. So, I mean, it's a huge risk with little monetary reward. It seems like more money. You don't get any benefits. They're cracking down on drivers. There's basically everything's going to be closed today and tomorrow, right? So people can drive almost everywhere you want. Your goal is to drive 1,000 miles a day. That's not my goal. I don't think you can do that. Maybe in a car. It's doable. I don't know. My guess if your truck went fast enough. If your truck went fast enough, you didn't have traffic, you started right at midnight, drove 10 hours, then continued to drive, you probably could do it. They're cracking down drivers that are gaining weight when you renew your card. Yes, it's neck size. They've been going neck size. So it depends on the neck size that you have. I don't know. Like they commented, Schwarzenegger, when he won Mr. Universe, would have had to take a sleep study. So that doesn't make any sense. At bar none, you're going to finish the year with 89. Now, that's excellent. That's almost what somebody who owns their own truck made, and you get full benefits. And as you know, right, I've posted bar none. I love the place. The pay is really good there. So 90 grand, zero risk, full benefits. Love it. You made 75 this year with 31 days and 3 weeks and 1 week. Right, exactly. With all and full benefits. That's the way to do it, right? Worked at Wimmissettek, right? Made 60 grand. You're driving the Holiday and you're at Gary now. Oh, I'm going to head to Pennsylvania. Nice. I'll be up by Gary tomorrow. Yeah, proves that ATA's top priority is controlling drivers' pay. That's all they want, meaning low. They want to control it down. They want to like turn down the knob. Blue Parrot 550 worth the extra money over the 450. I don't know. I don't have a 450. Anybody got a 450? Am I a 410 or 5.8? All right, 5 days a week, right. Starting with ShipX. Oh, interesting. Let me know how that goes. Somebody else started with them a while ago, and they said that if you roll, they'll roll you. But I've always talked about ShipX, that the money there is in the bonus of making the miles. So you gotta, that's not a place where it's home every weekend and to make a lot of money. You're gonna have to be gone at that place at least 3 weeks to make some money. Do I think sleep studies should be mandatory? No, absolutely not. Your last physical, they didn't measure your neck. It isn't a requirement yet, but some companies do it. I know some companies do that. They have it for their own physical. It's not a requirement yet, but that's how they've been doing it. I think that any kind of medical thing that you have, a sleep study or whatever, should be between you and your doctor, not you and your company, who has no business getting involved in that. And because if it should be mandatory for truck drivers, then let's make it mandatory for everybody. Go get your car license. Oh, you're fat? Go get your sleep study. See how far that gets you. Will heroin use be a problem? They do not do a neck test for heroin, so no. When you drive by Gary, you smell like Gary for a week. Yeah, exactly. And 80, 94, you got to really be ready to roll up there. 80, 85 up there, and I'm getting past. It's a 55. Crazy. Ryan says you're a team and you're home every weekend and make 75 each plus benefits. Nice. Rolling in the dough. We know where the money is over there. 150. You're in the top 5 or 6% of wage earners in the country. 9%, something like that. There are yard drivers making $1,200 a week. Exactly. Exactly. So this 100 is, you should make, you own the truck, you need to make 200 to make, you're not considering for risk. You're taking all this risk and really not making any money. You have a 450, the charge lasts a long time. Okay, this 350, I went 11 days without charging it. 11 days on the Blue Parrot 350. That's incredible. My Blue Eagle, I used to have to charge it every day. The 450 single ear, yes. There's that dual ear one. You can't really use that when you're driving. You're going to work for Dot Foods, as I keep saying, instead of DOT, but didn't like their idle percentage. Yeah, you know, I don't understand why they told me they have APUs. Their idle, you have this idle percentage thing, you know, I don't know what they're talking about with this APU. Presumably, though, you know, it's all round trip, so you should know where you're going and stuff. It's still worth checking into. Does your company do overtime over 8 or 40? 40. OT over 40. But because I hardly do anything there, I just get a salary. Trucking answers on Christmas Eve and another Festivus. It is a Festivus miracle, Mr. Penske. That is correct. It was yesterday, certainly. More questions. I'm catching up. I'm working on it. There were a lot of people today, way more than I thought. 147 right now. I thought that would say 60 or 70. I'm surprised there's so many people here today. Maybe cars need electronic log. Yes, look, that's the solution. They want to do this next study. Let's do a next study for car drivers. I mean, they could go run. These people run off the road and kill everybody just the same as everybody else does. So to just say because you got an 18-inch neck or whatever, you need a sleep study, that's ridiculous. I mean, that's just crazy. Schwarzenegger, that's the best thing. Mr. Universe would have had to have sleep study. Yeah, Ivona, they don't have APUs. As I found out from many people, right, said that even though they insisted they did. On the sleep study, if you do a CPAP machine, the company you work for is now micromanaging your sleep. Yes, even on your days off. That's correct. They're Wi-Fi, most of them, right, if I remember right, and it reports back to the company whether you used it and you had to use it a certain amount of nights or whatever. Absolutely. Ivona says they have bunk heaters. Okay, that gas fuel fired, as they call it, bunk heater. That thing blasts you out. I had one years ago on the road. Oh, that thing blasts you out of the truck if it's good. Your 450 goes 6 to 7 days before you have to charge it. But you've had it for 2 years, and it used to stay charged for 9 to 10 days. Isn't that incredible? I mean, we used to have to charge them every day. And then before that, I had to charge my rotary headset up twice a day. Those big rotary metal headsets, crazy. Jose, hey, what's up? Happy holidays, happy Festivus to you. I hope you had a good Festivus yesterday. You're going downhill with RPM at 25 and Jake's on high. Wow, that's a disaster waiting to happen. Where are you going? Were you in Alaska somewhere? The Festivus episode was on while you were eating dinner and the older sister. I taped it, right? I'm going to watch it. I taped it. It was on last night, and it's always a great episode. It was on TBS last night. It's called The Strike if you want to watch it on demand or whatever, on Seinfeld. You asked Dot, what's the idle percentage? And they said, try to keep the engine off. Well, what the heck does that mean? Keep it off as much as possible? So is there a percentage where you get in trouble, or what the heck? I mean, that's crazy. That's maddening. Are they going to yell at you and not somebody else? I mean, if they're not going to give you an APU, it needs to be around 50%, I would say. Michael Jordan, Merry Christmas to you. Thank you for being here today, for bouncing in. How about that? That's a pretty good reference considering I don't know anything about sports. Oh, you're in Wisconsin. Where are we going down a hill at 2,500 in Wisconsin? Maybe with a load of paper or something? John, right, I can't believe it. Tom, Merry Christmas. Thank you for coming in. Happy New Year. We'll be here on next week as well. And I'll probably be popping in at some point tomorrow, just not for a scheduled show. Bar none doesn't have an APU, just idle management. Do you mean optimized idle? Amanda, Merry Christmas to you. Thanks for coming in. Optimized idle is not the best, but if they'll let you run it for as much as you want, I'm still okay. You lost me. No, I'm still here, Josh. You can set the truck to keep the idle. Oh, fine, and they don't care? Okay, then I'm fine too. Once they keep you warm or cool, that's what should matter, right? That's what should make the difference. Yeah, Doug, nice. What RPM does the engine blow, and what's the highest RPM? to go up the hill. Well, you know, I try and keep 18 or less. That's the goal. And I don't go 2,000, although with an automatic, right, it does what it wants to do. But I'm going to tell you 2,000 or less. It'd be just like a car, right? Let's not rule this at 2,500. That's crazy. Will, thanks for coming in, and enjoy the holiday, certainly. Rhino, honey buckets are banned at truck stops. Nice. They should be. Yeah, how long do you stay out? How long are you staying out at Bar None, and how long do they make you stay out at Bar None? That's different. Tony, oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that, and Merry Christmas to you. Thanks for watching them. You went out and the company put you in a hotel for a few nights. That's even better. They should just let you run the truck, but I'll take the hotel. You used to idle your truck all the time. No one said anything and still got your bonus. Frankie said that. That's good. You only get idle bonus half the year unless you're crazy and can sleep without air. Forget that. Oh, they don't yell about you. They just want you to be comfortable. The bunk heater will run you out. I totally agree. So in the winter, there's not many nights when you have to get it, when you have to run the truck. As long as they don't gripe at you about it too much, right, that'd be okay with me. It's just, they shouldn't have this try to keep it off unless they're not going to say anything to you about it. 18 days on and 4 off. Okay. But they have regional in certain areas. All right. Is that okay? It must be for you, right? I'm an ad driver, can't play ball. I don't know where we're going with that. I guess I didn't quite get that on here. 2,500. I know, right? Gear grinder. That's really high. Idling is cheaper than a hotel, depending, but yeah, probably now. Well, depending where you see our England be free for the place, right? May Trucking Company charges for fuel. Yes, Edgar, that's correct. Isn't that the great thing about May? You can idle all you want. You just buy the fuel yourself. Has anyone seen a Bigfoot? No, we haven't, because they're out of focus. They're the only creature that's out of focus, so that's why we can't see them. Do I know if Crete is a good company? Yeah, I would recommend Crete, certainly. You shift at 2,000? Right. That's about high for me. Just want to stop and say Merry Christmas. Thank you. Merry Christmas to you, David. Thank you for coming in today. That's 2,000 is really high. But that's not too high where you can't. That's like shifting your car at 6,000 every day. Carrie, Merry Christmas. Thanks for coming in. Happy Festivus to you. I have the poll up still, which will be down by next week, certainly. And I have my Festivus, my Christmas sweater right here. CFO lets you idle and below certain temperatures. Okay, that's good. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. ABP 5000. Oh, wow. And my successful marriage. I appreciate that very much. That's the hardest work to do of anything, for sure. You're trying to delete your DPF on your 2016. Any ideas? No way. Right, the warranty finished, right, you're done. I wouldn't do it. My gosh, how much does that cost to delete it? I just wouldn't. Bigfoot is real. I didn't say Bigfoot wasn't real. I said he's out of focus. Every picture I've seen of him, he's out of focus. I think he's an out of focus monster, and that's why we can't get a clear picture of him. As long as you keep the oil level up and good oil. Look, high RPM doesn't damage it. I agree, right? As long as you're not redlining it, just like your car. You can shift at high RPM every time. I totally agree, right? And just change the oil, which you should be doing anyway. You should do it in your car, your truck anyway. I just don't think you get as good a mileage. 3,000 is perfect. I think 3,000 may be a little high on the RPMs, maybe. Your trucks don't idle. Oh, 5 minutes. That's why they put you in a hotel. You know, they should let it run in the winter in case of this kind of problem. But if that's what they want to do and you get a hotel, yeah, you get a TV, shower, right? You're all set. And it's winter, so those showers should last you into mid-January now. You've never worked for a company that limits idle, even with APUs? Oh, yeah, a lot of them do that, Vlad. A lot of companies have an idle limit. A lot of them, like this, won't let the truck idle at all. No matter what, the truck turns itself off. You heard Schneider sued somebody. Who's Schneider suing? What did I miss on that? It's a Freightliner. When the engine light starts flashing, you just tap the gas and it'll keep idling. Well, you can't do that all night, certainly. Huh. You've carried a CDL for 25 years for a non-trucking company. Wow, that's nice of you. Required to drag a backhoe, sometimes material. No way to verify logbook, clean record. How hard to go over the road? Well, you have 25 years of experience. Will this company verify your driving experience? That's what the question will be, because they'll call. What will this place say? That will depend on how hard it would be for you to get a decent job. If this company will say you've been a driver for them for 25 years, you know, it just depends what they say. It's kind of a, I'm not saying a lie, but you say, oh, I've been a driver, here's my license, and I've been a driver 25 years. That's what we're saying. I got 5 cents a mile for very miles all month. Good. Delete 10,000. Yeah, exactly. You saw Bigfoot in person, Eric? Was he fuzzy? Was he out of focus? Some ice don't have a red line. Yeah, I think they have a red line. Maybe not on the tack, but there's a red line for everything. We can't just 3,000 it. Oh my God. A lot of owner-uppers delete the DPF. That's crazy if you have a warranty. If on that 16, that thing is probably still under warranty. You cannot take that off of there. And no company will work on the truck then. You can't take it back to Freightliner or get anything done on it. I mean, on an older truck, just like your car, it's one thing. But a 16 probably still has warranty. You can never take it back to the dealer then. Forget that. CFI is calling you every day. They'll never stop calling, these companies. Trump supporter. That's an interesting name, right? That's destroying the rolling can. I haven't, like I've said, I haven't had any problems with my 18 Cascadia, but we have had some of them that had problems. They were sued for deleting the DPF. Oh, and bringing it on. Oh, that's different. Well, I don't see how Schneider would have a problem when they brought it on. They just say, you can't bring it on. It is illegal, by the way. You can't delete it. It's deleting an emission system. I'm just saying, it's not like the cops are going to arrest you for it, but CFI needs drivers. Yeah, who doesn't? Hey, so you're training one? You better be awake the whole time. Is it? It isn't illegal. Yeah, you can't stop an emission system in the truck, I would say. It'd be like taking a muffler off your car. That's what I think about it. Can I reiterate about the ruling on brake exemption? Oh, MrSkeptical, of course. Oh, right, because you got to go over there sometimes. Okay, so in California, drivers that were getting this paid meal and rest breaks, you know, their meal break is paid in California. No way, can't do that anymore, the FMCSA says. So as of yesterday or a couple days ago, right, last week, FMCSA says that meal break, you don't have to do that anymore. The federal government is preempting that. So if you were getting that paid meal and rest break in California, you likely won't get it anymore. They are not required to do it anymore. Even though they can do it, they won't do it. And they put that out as an immediate rule. So that changed immediately. Expect that to go away for everybody. CRST charged you $826 for over idling. They don't have API. I never heard of that. If you have that kind of thing in writing, I'd love to see it. I thought only May was in the program for that. They're not allowed to do that unless you agree to it in advance. Need to change from unskilled to skilled labor? Yeah, we're all skilled labor. We're licensed professionals. You're retiring after January in 45 years. Wow. Think you'll pull a camper, go 50 in left lane with the right turn signal on? Yes. That's what everybody that retires does. Turn CRST into the labor board, Ivona. Here's the problem, like we found out with May. That somebody sued May, if you remember, and lost because they agreed to it in advance. Idling is considered for the benefit of the driver, just like health insurance. So if you agree to the withdrawal, you have to have signed to agree for them to withhold your wages. But if CRST at some point has had you sign that, they can do it. They can do it. It's crazy. I thought no way. And so did some other driver. That's why they sued May. Turns out, yeah, they can do it if you agree to it, to this as a benefit in advance. Although you're the first person to say anything about CRST or anybody else charging for it. I'd love to see that further, really. Walmart pays good, but they get your phone record, so I'm out of that. Walmart can request your cell phone records at any time, and you have to give it to them or they fire you because you agree to that. So that's worse than a camera. Worse than a camera. Camera only catches you at work. The cell phone shows what you did the whole time. So they can pay all they want. I'm not giving them my cell phone records. You heard it's not illegal to delete the DPF. Only California likes it. Okay, Edgar. look, I'm not a DPF expert. I'm saying it's a problem at a dealership. I think if you take something off of there that's designed to be on there on a 16 Freightliner and you go to Freightliner for some kind of warranty, I think you're going to have a problem. I think that is a problem. You couldn't stay with the truck with it not idling, with the truck idling, right? Dog delete illegal, a DOT, right? DPF maybe, right, but not enforced. Well, there would be no way to, I've never been checked. Has anybody ever had, they open the little flap and say, do you actually have a DEF tank? I doubt it. I mean, they'd actually, you could leave the tank, they'd have to open the engine, it's in there. So I don't think you'd get busted that way. I think on a 16, my problem would be, that's a, you know, the warranty. You go in for warranty and they go, no way, you messed with the engine. JPS Carriers out of Melrose Park, rent the truck. Pfft, forget that's what a lease is, right? Forget it. Most money you've made, but Mr. S. But is it more than a company driver? That's the thing of it. So, Mr. Skeptical. So in California, you do not have to take the 30-minute break. You still have to take your required federal 30-minute break within the first 8 hours. You just won't be paid for it. And the meal break that paid, I don't know if California paid the 30 minutes, right? But the meal break in California, which was paid, isn't paid now. So they can't require you to do what the federal government said is California, hey, listen, you nutballs, you can't have a different law than the rest of the country for drivers. It's too complicated. So California drivers will now have to follow the same rules as the rest of the drivers. And so these paid meal breaks, no more. You'll still have to take your regular 30-minute federal break, though. You can be on the phone when not on duty. Yes. They just get your phone records at Walmart for the whole month. They can ask you for the month's worth of your cell phone records because they limit how much you can be on the phone and stuff. So they would see who you're calling. A psychiatrist, I don't know. What if you're calling an oncologist, a cancer doctor, and they go, this person is about to cost us a ton of money about medical stuff. Let's fire them. That kind of thing. The off-duty stuff, it's none of their business. Who I'm calling is none of their business, whether I'm in the truck or anywhere else. Tom, if you delete it, any dealer will not work on it. I totally agree. I think you make that kind of a change in your truck on a 16 and your warranty is finished. They're not going to do anything. When they see that, they're going to go, no way. So I think it's a big problem. Josh, buy a pre-emissions truck. That solves the DPF problem. But you're buying a truck now that is about to turn 20 years old. It's ridiculous to give up your cell phone records. You would not give it up. I agree. So what I'm saying is at Walmart, tell them forget it, right? I'm not doing it. That's horrible. That's your off-duty calls also. Who does that? Is a little bit of money worth it? I mean, so they're paying $75. You can get that somewhere else probably. But even if it was more money, we may look at your cell phone records. That isn't worth it. Mr. S, you bring home $2,000 a week, $4,500. That'd be interesting on a 1 week to net $4,500. Is it a company? That'd be really good then, right? Then you're making enough money. Is it company responsibility to pay a driver for detention after a broker agrees to pay for detention when a company pays a fraction of it? Yeah, if you're a company driver, if this is what we're talking about, you get what you agree to. Like we pay $10 an hour or whatever, or we don't pay anything. If you're an owner-operator, you agree to whatever the rate is or your contract. I'll accept $10 an hour or $20 or whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Whatever you agree to is what you get. Don't agree to things that you don't think are fair, like this cell phone thing at Walmart, right? I don't agree to that, so I'm not working there. But once you agree to it, yeah, then it's totally legal. CRST fined you $25 for not having cash on board for tolls. Yeah, I mean, I believe it because I think the place is horrible. But I mean, I've never heard, nobody's ever said anything like that. Is this in a manual or something there? You have to agree to this. Okay, anything like this, you have to have signed for. Send me the paper. Take a picture of it if you don't have any way to scan it and send it that way. Because any deduction from your check like that has to be signed for. Has to be signed for. If you didn't sign for it, go get your money from the labor board. Like Ivona said, I agree. California checks on level 1 inspection. Okay, so they're looking for it. But what they're saying is that they're expecting it. So I guess if you don't go to California, maybe no problem as long as you never go to a Freightliner dealer. Burner phone for company record. You shouldn't have to buy a separate phone for your company though, right? I shouldn't have to do that. Ironically, you could get a Straight Talk phone from Walmart. Big Brother and Walmart are the same thing. I agree. Do all companies pull cell phone records? I've never heard of another company getting a cell phone record but Walmart. And I didn't believe it when I first heard it. We had to go check in with an actual driver. What about Old Dominion? I'm in for them. Super great pay here. They're offering 64 cents or something in Indianapolis to start. Nice for line haul. Messing with emissions that is after 1980 is against EPA. Yeah, look, Alvy, I wouldn't do it. Maybe it's not legal. Maybe it's legal. I wouldn't mess with it. I just would not mess with it. And the car, same thing. I go do something with the emissions and go take it over to Ford. They're going to be like, forget that. Get that thing out of here. You can't do it. Yeah, and plus you'd have to do it yourself. No licensed shop would do it. No way. The phone records is more about time than who you're calling. Crypto futures. That's what they say. You're 10 minutes times 6. Okay, but so what? They still get to see who you've called. Maybe you called HR on one of them in the office. They get to see that. That isn't any good. You know, you just never know who's looking at it. It isn't any of their business who I called on my off time or on my on time. Have I ever done a review on CalArc or Central Hauling? I have not. Isn't it the norm for drivers to have cell phone records subpoenaed by attorneys when facing lawsuits? Yeah, Captain Jack. If you're in a big accident or whatever, an attorney's going to get your phone records, certainly. That's different. And they have to go to court to get it, you know, unless you just give it to them. But the attorney will get your phone records. Somebody dies or whatever, your phone records are being pulled. Yes. But that's not your company just saying, hey, give us your phone records tomorrow. I deleted her input headers. I agree, right? If you're in an accident, one of the first things the lawyer asks for is the phone records. Yes, that's correct. They'll get them in a big accident. This is just Walmart, though, saying, hey, why don't you give us your phone records? Walmart could see everything. They want to know your lifestyle. What if you have an alternative lifestyle that they don't like? What about that? You grossed $9,000 this week pulling a dry van. That's excellent. That's $4 or $5 a mile. That's incredible. It's what, 3 times the national average rate for a van freight in the country? What did Landline now say? $1.90 something is van freight or something like that? Nice, $2. How do you get so much money a mile to pull van freight? I'd like to see that 10,000 a week. That's $500,000 with a single truck. That I'd like to see that. It goes the same with your truck will not pass your annual inspection in any state. Okay, Alvy, how about this? Oh, for the semi, maybe. Right, in Indiana, though, your car, no inspection here. Other than a couple of counties, like Lake County, a couple of counties do emissions checks. The rest of the state, we don't care what you drive for your car. You were told to save your receipts for tax season so I can get my money spent on the road back. Is this true? Well, as long as you itemize, and remember, I'm not a tax expert, all right? I use TurboTax myself. But, you know, as long as you itemize, you have enough receipts to itemize, which most people won't this year. But if you did do that, then things that you spent would be tax deductible. You know, like gloves or some such thing like that. Or if you're an owner-operator, of course, then you can save your receipts, that kind of thing. But as a company driver, you'll have to itemize, and you're probably the standard deduction, which just got doubled this year, will more than cover, you know, gloves, unless you bought around 50 to 60 pairs a day. Maybe you go through a lot of gloves. But seriously, otherwise, it probably won't count. But save them and count them up at the end of the year and see which one comes out ahead. Do I think they will change the 30-minute break? Yes, I still think so, but they didn't mention it in their comments. It was the number one thing that drivers said. Number one thing. They want that brake changed. And so for a while they talked about it and then poof, it's just disappeared. Do I think they'll change it? I still think it's going to either go away or at least be allowed to be used whenever you want it to be used. But it was the number one problem. So yeah, I actually still do think so. It's the talked about thing. You don't sign their garbage. Yeah, I agree. Don't sign for anything that you don't agree with. That's why they're taking stuff. No one has ever said this about CRST to me, ever. That they've taken out fuel or like you have to carry money for them. What the heck is that? It's only 5 cents. That's all the miles a month. On your 52, you get off. There's 4 weeks in the month. You get 5 checks. So 10 to 12,000. Yeah, 12,000 miles. It depends on the month. Right, exactly. Buy a Fitzgerald glider. You could still get a glider and get around the DEF that way. I agree. That's another way to do it. Edgar, who does that on phones, right? Who's doing that? Oh, Walmart. And remember at Walmart, which they've talked about in their own things, it's not necessarily an assigned truck. So keep that in mind if you want to call them for a job in your area. A lot of the trucks are not assigned, even the sleepers. So when you are out of the truck, like you're home for the weekend, that truck gets used on the weekend by somebody else, sleeping in your bed. You know, and they may not be as nice to it as you are. Who knows what's going on in there? Dealerships will kick you off the site if you delete. They won't touch it, Vlad. Agree. You can, if you do a large thing like that to your 16 truck by taking off an emission system at DEF, you are not going to be in the dealership for anything as soon as they see that, because they don't want any part of that. Old Dominion is a good company. You have friends drive for them. They really pay good, and you don't see as many ads for them. And, you know, I've been a fan of those type of LTL companies for a while. Problem with buying a glider is there's a ruling now to put ELDs in there working to get the GPS technology. So it depends, even if you have an old engine, how would you do that? There's nowhere to, oh, you'd have to get a pre-electronic engine in there. Is it illegal to be on the phone when driving? As long as you have a headset on, it is not illegal to be on the phone yet. Your company can have a policy where you're not allowed on the phone, but the law, no. But you can't hold the phone at all. If you delete your DPF, you can't pass your annual inspection. They do check that maybe, okay, so that you can't pass it on your truck without the DEF. That's interesting. So if you go to a place that checks it, you can't get your annual. Now what? If Walmart office guy wants your wife, he'll not. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of reasons why you don't want Walmart to get your phone records. I just went through the Comcars orientation and advanced training. Interesting. Seems like a swell company. Yeah, this is part of the CTL group of companies. But you're going to resign this week because of a local place. You just went through the orientation. Any information on Halver lines on Superior? No. Who works for Halver out here? Use a Bluetooth and no texting. Correct. And you can be on the headset all day. Not illegal. The company, though, can limit it. But it's certainly legal. Company drivers don't get to deduct expenses. You get to deduct expenses as long as they exceed your standard deduction. You don't get to deduct per diem. That's different than expenses. Per diem and expenses are two different things. So you can deduct legitimate expenses that are unreimbursed business expenses like gloves. You just can't deduct the per diem that company drivers used to take, although the standard deduction was doubled for everybody. But that still won't cover the difference. There's going to be a lot of unhappy people here coming up pretty soon when they start getting their taxes done or doing their taxes and are quite surprised at the outcome, because they didn't plan for this at the beginning of the year, where they need to start taking a little bit more out for federal, because you're not going to get that huge per diem, you know, $18,000. And that's going to be a real hit for some people are going to owe instead of getting a bunch of money back. That's going to be a surprise. Tom, wife says it's time to go. Oh, last minute shopping. Oh, I appreciate that. I have an address that you can mail things to. Thank you. Says Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Thanks for coming in, though. I appreciate seeing you here. We'll see you next Monday. You get the base deduction of $12,000. Right, Vlad. You get the deduction doubled, exactly. The only time they have a right to look at the records is after an accident. No, you agree to it in advance. But that's all, Alvy, exactly. But here's the thing at Walmart. You agree to it up front. You go, oh yeah, I'll sign this paper right here. I'll give you my phone records anytime I want. They don't hide it. You agree to it. So what you agree to, right? The 30-minute break should be required only if you're continuously driving to prevent drivers from fatigue. Well, when they did the 30-minute break, it's unpaid. Like nobody pays it, even though they could. So they basically took 30 minutes out of your day that they're not getting paid for to reduce the day to 13 and a half hours effectively. And so that's a problem. The White Knight is late. And we're past an hour. That's 2 demerits. Why can't the driver decide when they're tired? Yeah, Vlad, let's the driver decide when they want to take. At worst case, say you have to take a 30-minute break, you can take it whenever you want to. That'd be better. Okay, I'll be right. So the truck won't pass an inspection. So it won't pass an inspection. It can't get any warranty work done. Probably no licensed dealer will touch it. California will fail you at a scale. Not worth it. Not worth it to me. BAT still have a chupacabra. Now, are they in focus or are they out of focus like Bigfoot is? Lost signal. Any info on Ozark? Now, I have no information on Ozark motor lines. Going to run that truck stop show by Denny's. When and where? Okay, Mr. Skeptical. We're going to be at Mid-America Truck Show at the end of March. So you can go search them out on truckingshow.com, something like that. I have a link at truckinganswersnation.com. I have a links page now. So you can go on helpful links, and there's a link right there to the truck show. Get your tickets and go by there. And you know where also you should be, Mr. Skeptical? Next July in Walcott, Iowa. I'll run this by them too. There is the Trucking Jamboree, where we're going to have the first annual Trucking Answers gathering and meetup, but also the Trucking Jamboree is in July. I don't know the exact date. Check out Trucking Jamboree also on the web. But this first one, Mid-America, is the last weekend in March, and go check that out. And let me know what they say if you're going to have the truck out there. I think it'd be great. I mean, it would be great publicity for them. You want the Christmas sweater behind you? Yeah, man. Isn't that great? I love pink flamingos. People don't know that about me. But I was a big fan of flamingos, so nothing better than some Christmas flamingos. This will be I'll be wearing that tomorrow probably. You're home every day. 30-minute break is stupid. It should, if you get off the same day, it should be exempted for that, certainly. You want your 30 minutes paid back from the time the government took from you. I agree. They took the 30 minutes and nobody gets paid for it. You just have to sit there unpaid. You can't make any money because you're not allowed to do anything because it's off duty. And so they reduced the amount of the day without increasing the pay. So that's no good. If you agree to anything, the company has a right to do it. Almost true, right? For almost everything. They can't make a rule that supersedes the law. Right. I agree to drive 15 hours a day. Right, exactly. But this cell phone thing, you agreed to it up front. They're having you sign it. That's why I want to know about this CRST. Did you sign to have fuel money taken out of your check? That's the only way they can withhold wages. You have a Fitzgerald Glider, 2015. The ELD plugs right in and works great on it. 12.7, nice. And you should get good fuel mileage with that. I would assume an electronic engine in a glider is going to be no problem, right? It should have an OBD plug or whatever that plug is called, and it should plug in. And what company are you using for that? I'm just curious on ELD. People sometimes ask me, what ELD are you using for that, and do you like it? Landstar. I like Landstar, right? Our TMC treats you like crap. They talk down to you, of course. That's the Marine Corps, TMC. Someone that reminds them they're no longer in the military. Those guys still think they're in the military. When I heard you have to make your bed before the truck goes back to the shop for any kind of service or anything because they look and inspect your bed, I knew. And then somebody wrote here that worked there that said, you have got to have all the grooves in your floor clean. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's the most ridiculous thing I ever heard of. Any information on Roadrunner? Not from me. They do not check DEF on an annual. That crap has nothing to do with safety. I think it depends probably where you get it done. And if they do, you got a real problem. The sweater, it does have lights in it. This is a separate set of lights. The sweater does have its own light system, though. Of course. Used to manage the Flamingo that was in the Tipton until INDOT bought it. Oh, that's pretty good. The Flamingo Motel that was in Tipton. That's great. You like the live show? Oh, thank you very much, Adco. I appreciate it. I appreciate you coming in here today. Oh, the YouTube channel, always tune in for information. Appreciate it very much. There'll be even more coming next year. It's going to be even better. You heard that Fitzgerald gliders are very good trucks. I guess we'll go along with that. Any info on the next company doing it right? Yeah, maybe this CTL company. Man, 55 cents for a student, I mean, and 62 cents after a year for somebody right out of truck school? That's pretty good. I mean, considered Pam is 30 cents for the same person with the same level of experience. That's a quarter a mile. You almost double your pay by just making an extra phone call. That's huge money in your first year. $20,000, $30,000 difference in 1 year. Can a company fire you at not your home terminal? Yes. They can fire you anywhere, just like you can quit anywhere. Now, I think they should have to get you home. They don't necessarily. So I always tell people I have a few $100s available to you at least, so you can at least take the crack hound back to your house at least, if not rent a car. Ever heard of J&H Trucking? No, I never heard of that. Vlad, yes, they can. It's at will. They can fire. They can just fire you right where you are. Park the truck, you're fired. That kind of thing. You can also park the truck and quit. So it's both sides of it. Yeah, thanks, Jerry. I appreciate that. MrSkeptical, the show in March. Is that when I'm going to present the crap company of the year? Yeah, which I should post. I forgot to do it today, right? I was sitting there working, didn't do it. Somebody sent me, and I thank you. I don't remember your name, of course, because I'm bad at that. So a trophy with a crap on it. So I can't believe it. The trophy will be presented at the trucking show in March if the company is there. They may not be there. Okay, so that's the problem. But if the company's going to be there, they're going to get the trophy live. And I'll be live down there at the show. And I want all of you to come with me over to their table, because if the recruiters are there, we're going to present them this trophy and everything live, if they're there. If not, I'll have an alternative presentation. And I'm almost 100% sure that one of their representatives will be at the presentation of the trophy if they're not down there. So that's how it's going to be there, yes. Let's see, might as well do a 40-hour reset. Yikes. On the side of the road, we don't want to do any resets on the side of the road. And people, stop pulling off the side of the road to go to the bathroom. Okay, I see this a lot. Stop it. Okay, it's very unsafe. I understand the log and everything, but look, it's super unsafe. You're going to get somebody killed. Safety has to be first regardless of the log and everything else. You can't just pull off on the shoulder where there's a bunch of trees, okay? You can't. It's not safe. Adco, thanks. I appreciate it. I'm trying to get the word out to everybody. Yes, Vlad, a glider truck is a new truck and an old engine. Usually mechanical. Anytime towing. Thanks for coming in here. Appreciate it. Any news on the update on electronic log and the ELD? It won't be till next year that they're going to talk about what the actual final rule is going to be. That's what they said, which is supposed to go into effect now in May. So they're going to make an announcement in March. That was the last thing that they said. Let's see. That's the yeah. Okay, I appreciate that. Right. Can't wait for that presentation. Yeah, Ivona, I really hope they're going to be there. It's going to be the greatest thing in trucking ever. I do try to keep it real. What's got poison ivy? Yeah, that's another story. You don't have to go that far off the road for the poison ivy. Keep trucking on a glider. You can run a glider, no problem at the moment. I-Ford, Florida's going to close 2 rest areas. They cannot ask you to park all the time and then stop everywhere that they let you park. The shoulder brake, yes, Adco. I understand the log. I get it. You can't do things that are unsafe, though, because you're being regulated. You can't. The safety, no matter what, has to be the first priority. Even if it costs you a few bucks, it's got to be. If somebody ran into you, oh my gosh. Park the truck and quit. What about being charged? Okay, now 2 broke 10. That's different. You could be charged with truck abandonment, but they can't make you work there. What I'm saying is they can fire you anywhere. You can quit anywhere. I quit. There may be repercussions. Every time you make a decision, a choice, something in life, no matter what it is, There may be things that happen because of it, but you don't have to work for any company for even 1 second longer than you want to. Park, I quit, and leave. What happens beyond that is different, but you can quit. They cannot make you work. It's no more slavery. You can just walk away and quit. What happens after that happens, though. Nice, Roger Penske. I never thought of a plural. Edgar, oh, you're going to go? All right, well, enjoy the party. And thanks for being here, and I hope to see you on next Monday. Oh, good, Shelly. I appreciate you coming in. You do get demerits for being late, but thanks for coming in anyway. And Merry Christmas, Edgar. Thanks for coming in here. Ivona doesn't go to Florida, so you won't have to worry about the rest areas. That's awesome. People need to start sharing my videos. Yeah, spread the word to other people. That's really good. Oh, okay. You watch the channel, Dwight, and the first time listening. Thanks for coming in. I'm live every Monday. I guess I should announce that more in the videos, too. But for those that you don't know, I'm live every Monday, 52 Mondays a year, rain or shine, 1 p.m. Eastern. Oh, you don't go to Florida anymore. Would they fire you for wanting to complain for more miles? No accidents. Yeah, they could. I mean, they can fire you for any reason. So they may think, oh, this guy just, or woman, right? I shouldn't look right. Okay, this guy just complains all the time. And they can fire you. So they can fire you for any reason, anywhere. They should have to get you home. If they fire you somewhere other than where you started, they should have to get you home. And if they brought you to where you started, they should still get you home. And even a decent company would do that. But a lot of them don't. They go, you're fired. And that's it. And you just got to walk away and hitch a ride back, or, you know, lift your pant leg up and hope to get a ride with those hairy legs out there. I don't know. You love Meijer Supermarket. Huh, who doesn't shop at Meijer? I love it. Why pay more? Any supermarket that actually truly treats their employees a fair wage. I shop at Meijer all the time. We were just in there 2 days ago. You really confused your wife with Festivus. Enjoyed every minute. She doesn't understand why I wanted a meatloaf. What got... I mean, this is almost marriage counseling. For somebody that doesn't understand it, I mean, that's just crazy. Of course you want meatloaf, because then, you know, we have to continue with it. But the meatloaf gets everything started. You would allow Meijer if they allow truck parking? Come over to the Meijer here. It's packed full of trucks. We're out there, and I thought, oh, man, I hope these people aren't stuck here until Wednesday, because there must be 20 trucks in the parking lot. So it depends on which one you're in. The one here has plenty of it. Float gears or not? Yeah, float. In a manual. Automatic, harder to float. But seriously, once you start floating, you never go back to non-floating. I couldn't rhyme that. Merry Christmas. Oh, Mama Bear. All right, it's Angie. Thanks for being here. Merry Christmas to you. Name change gets me confused. It takes me long enough to remember everybody's name as it is. Floathouse left leg lives matter. Oh, that's good. That's good. Lawrence, thank you. Merry Christmas. Thanks for being in here today. Meatloaf. Yeah, delicious. Hopefully there's no tinsel, though. It's very distracting. You're a U.S. Express Meijer dedicated drivers. You're getting a pay raise. Excellent. Guess local manufacturing building trades wages are taking their toll. And here again, here's U.S. Express, which I've called out as being not great. But you're on a dedicated account there. And so bingo, much better job. And you get all the benefits of U.S. Express. So you can go to these companies, which are horrible, and work and have a great job at them. So a U.S. Express dedicated account pays better, and you get to go to Meijer all the time. How great is that? I mean, it's the only place to shop. If you don't live in the Midwest where there's a Meijer, you should move here so that you can go shopping there. Meatloaf made great music. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, probably 2 out of 3 of his songs weren't bad, I would say. Frankie delivered to a Meijer and never heard of them prior to that. There's 180 Meijers or 200 Meijers. There's not that many Meijer stores. It's a large store, you know, the size of a Walmart, but 10 times better. Clutch is the stop and start. Yes, Vlad, that's it. After that, we don't mess with it anymore. Always float it. Eric also works at U.S. Express. Are you also on a dedicated account at U.S. Express, or do you run the road there? Because looking at them, the road wasn't really great, and their starting pay for students really, really low. But then once you get into a dedicated account at any of these companies, it solves most of your trucking problems. If you go to Meyer, you know you have a parking place. Best trucking to work well, Jerry, people always ask that, but it depends. There isn't one good company. It depends what you want to do in trucking. You know, if you want to be gone, if you want to be home, it depends. If you want to be gone for weeks, there's different than if you want to be home on the weekends. There's tons of different things to do. There is a good company waiting for you, and part of it is where you live. Like if you don't live in the Midwest, you're not going to get on a Meyer dedicated account, certainly. Ivona likes the sweater. Isn't it great? I mean, Christmas flamingos. What can be better than that? Len, oh, time for you to get busy. Well, thank you for being here. And have a good holiday. And I hope to see you on next Monday. Lived in Alabama your whole life, Frank, you're right. There's Kroger, Publix, and Winn-Dixie. Exactly. You're not going to get out on Meyer dedicated down there. They don't go that far south. You may get on a Publix account for somebody. So part of it depends on where you live. Best company is where you fit in well. Yes. I mean, every company, you know, even the bad ones have good and bad, as they say in the song. But seriously, like I've been at my company over 16 years, but we have people that come here in 3 months and they quit. They go, oh, forget this. This is crap here. You know, so it just depends. It's not for them. So there's a company waiting for you where you fit in that meets the needs of you, that for you. I like a large place with a lot of benefits. You may like working for somebody that's got 3 trucks where they know your name. I don't want them to know my name. I won't hear from them again until after the holiday. They don't care. That's just how I like it too. Out of sight, out of mind. Ed's gonna get off of here. Can I recommend a good long haul company? Yeah, look, if you're ready to run, what I tell people, right, I'd go at ShipX. As long as you want to run, since you say long haul OTR, right? Because their average length of haul is over 1,400 miles at that place. But that's not a home on weekend company, because you got to run miles to get the bonus. That the way they have the bonus set up there, you really have to run, which they have the miles even from people that went there and told me. So ShipX for long distance driving, that's the place to go as long as you're ready to roll. If you want to be home on weekends, though, that's not the place to be. You can't take that much time off and make their bonus system. You won't make as much money as potential. The potential there is $1,800, $2,000 a week at that place, if you're willing to run. Dollar Tree dedicated over the road is not good. We'll say on YouTube here. Over the road only works or in the back pocket. You know, I don't think a Dollar Tree. Don't you use those roller cart things, that conveyor thing with the roller things, and you've got to roll every box off the truck? Is that how Dollar Tree works? Who would want to do that? You're going to get on with Pam in a couple weeks. I'm sorry about that. They sponsor your schooling, correct? You saw the review and concerned you, and you're going to see how it goes. All right, well, let us know how it goes. Good luck. You know, I mean, they have this $25 a week thing, which somebody sent me, whose name I don't remember, of course, which I have posted. You're never gonna see that money. The pay there. Oh, well, let's ask you. What are they offering you per mile? That's interesting. Rob, what do they offer? What is Pam offering you a mile to start? George H.W. Bush, Mr. President, Merry Christmas to you. I love the tree that you've got at the White House. Mark, Merry Festivus. Got to fire up the Adobe grill. And take care. Oh, okay, thanks for coming in. Anyway, from Mexico. That's really something. Oh, okay, if you're down there, got goat and a brisket. All right. Anybody in the area can go get their goat down there in Mexico. What's the temperature down there? You may be gone already. 3 to 4 weeks out. Yeah, look, Ed, if you're willing to stay out the month and then get a little bit of time, ShipX, long 1,400 mile length of haul. That's how you get miles, and a lot of dropping hooks. That's how miles are made. R&L. Oh, Ivona, right. R&L is great also. You have an interview with Estes? Yes, I'm in for Estes. ShipX does look good, but you got to be out. I tell people. Because people, I want to be weekends. No. ShipX is no for weekends. because you won't get the bonus. You won't get enough miles to get the bonus. And then the pay is just average pay. That bonus, when the bonus kicks in, that's where your money is at that place. Ivona agrees on Estes, right? Poor make it the year they watch the doors open. You'll get plenty. Oh, Rob, 30 cents. Oh, man. So that the pay hasn't changed. I mean, look, you're already there, right? So just make the best of it. Oh, it's 68 degrees in Mexico. That's awesome. That's awesome. I wish I could come down there. I'd try goat if I was down there. Ivona, look, I mean, I don't know what to say. 30 cents for 90 days. That's really, really low, man. I feel for you. But they did your schooling, so put in your time and see what you can do. I will tell you, as soon as you can get out of that, you can come close to doubling that money, by changing companies. You really can. As I tell people, CTL, which was just sent to me, which I really like, is paying students 55 cents. Maverick, 51 cents. I mean, that's a ton of money in your first year. That's why Pam is just so low. I just can't ever recommend that. Truck parking at Meyer varies by store. Some don't care. Driver was towed for one in the Dayton, Ohio area. U.S. Express requires you to live within 30 miles of the D.C. Okay. So per store, all right. Well, let's say you may come to this Lafayette store. So the one here in Lafayette, if you've ever been there, they have tons of truck parking. They let trucks park there all the time. Volvos are high in repair, but decent. I like the way they ride, but the mechanics hate them. Our mechanic hates the Volvos. How much a mile at ShipX? ShipX has a salary program with bonuses. The salary's 11 something a week, but the bonus, I mean, you can make another $600-800 a week in bonuses there because of the 15,000 mile a month thing. So that's why I'm saying you need to stay out to get that hit 15,000 miles in a month and roll that bonus. Now, is that driving? Yeah, that's a lot of driving. You're going to need to be out the month, but then your month is looking $1,800 to $2,000 a week for that month. That's $100,000. That's serious money. But if you're home every weekend, you're not going to get 15,000 miles that month. You're just not going to do it. So it's not the place for you. Goat is awesome. Best date with goat cheese. Oh, that's like rubbing it in. So you murder the poor goat, and then you rub goat cheese on it. Oh, I mean, that's horrible. That's horrible. It's like eating a hamburger and then putting blood on it, cow's blood. I mean, come on. So you used to, Myers said that's better. They carry motor code, so that's worth it. They use flex rollers and fingerprint every box. 5,000 boxes in a trailer. 49 cents a mile. That's not terrible. $220 for the trailer. I did 4 trailers a week. So it's good money. It's just a lot of work. Oh, goat meatloaf. I don't know about that. Goat loaf. Oh, I bet if you served it as goat loaf, I think that'd be a real problem. You want 60 cents a mile and never going home. Well, bar none, I'll give you that. And so does ShipX. I mean, you're going to end up with that money. If you want 60 cents, though, bar none is advertising 60 cents right now. And there's people right on here at bar none making 90 grand that were on here today. So absolutely, bar none. Give them a call. ABP says Masilla's bad, right? Because somebody asked about Masilla a little earlier. No. The only place in El Paso that's any good that I found is Out West Express. So they're in Masilla's area down there in El Paso. Out West Express, call them. And if you live down in that area. Because if you can get to the Masilla terminal, you can get to Out West Express. The pay's way more at that place. Chicken omelet is a cruel creation as well. Yeah, I mean, you can't have a chicken omelet. Oh, here, we're going to put your dead body with your kids. I mean, come on. It's just not right. There's just something wrong with it. You've been driving for 25 years at 4 million miles. Whoo! Well, you were rolling out there. You have more miles than me, and I got time on you, so that's really good. ShipX won't hire you with a misdemeanor less than 5 years. It's got to be over 5 years. That's a problem if you have a misdemeanor. That's a problem. I mean, if you have I always tell people that, right? But if you have a record or whatever, you're going to maybe have to make more phone calls to get on a company. Forget the goat, meatloaf, deer meatloaf is best. Wow. Well, people, I think, at least in the United States, would probably be more likely to accept that. I don't think there's a lot of goat meatloafs being prepared in the United States for this. Merry Christmas, Kenneth. Thanks for coming in. And also happy Festivus. Yeah, chicken omelet, right? I mean, you can't mix them like that. That isn't right. That's like a veal meatloaf. Love watching. Doing a great Christmas party. Oh, okay, Billy. Enjoy the party. And thanks for coming in. I mean, I didn't know what would happen today. So thanks for being here. Maybe popping up live tomorrow at, I don't know when. So there may be a live pop-up. See how it goes. Oh, you like the sweater? Isn't it great? I mean, Christmas flamingos. Flamingos are great. Christmas is great. You got to combine the things. What are the best lanes out of St. Louis? Dave, BTC. Yeah, I don't know about that. Lane and rate price as a company driver, right? I'm not up 100% on that. Dollar store counts of workman's comp claims waiting to happen. Any unloading, correct? Many stores are a pain to get into. I agree. They look tiny. And I've gone by where I've seen the trucks sitting in there at night. I know they have to try to get in there because they can't get in there in the morning. And that's why companies have gotten away from that kind of thing. You know, if they don't want you unloading the trucks. Most companies don't unload anymore for just that reason. It costs them a fortune in workman's comp. We have to watch a video every year, which will probably be in January, about how to crank a trailer because workman's comp. So they show you how to do it, you know, in this video, and we'll have to watch a video about it. 15,000 miles a month at Chipex is tough. Yeah, almost at the beacon of despair. Yes, look, I'm not telling you 15,000 miles is a cakewalk, but that's where the top bonus is. But you got to get more than enough where you're home every weekend. That's what I'm saying. 13,000, there's a bonus. 14,000, there's different bonus plans there, which they have on their website. They're pretty open about it. So you can make the bonuses. You just got to be ready to roll. That's all. It's not a home every weekend place. I just want to warn people about that up front. Don't expect to go there and get home every weekend. That's not happening. Not if you want to make any money. Poor Rudolph. You worked for Stevens as a company driver for a while and now love it. Don't listen to everything I said. Yeah, don't listen to me. What do I know? They're a great company if they treated you well. Awesome truck. Well, you can get a good truck anywhere. And my real problem, Ken, at Stevens is they wouldn't talk to me. Okay, so if you could explain that, that'd be great. When I ask them questions, okay, they wouldn't talk to me until I applied. It was just as simple as that. I'm not talking to you to apply. We can't tell you anything till you apply. What does this pay? You have to apply. That's bad enough. But then I have people send me the stuff from Stevens, all right, which I have posted on my website. So if you want to listen to me, you can listen to Stevens' own words, which are posted at truckinganswersnation.com, and see what Stevens has to say about Stevens. All right, so we can listen to the exact things they say. But I had to ask other people to send that to me. And I think people would agree, if I call a recruiter and ask a question, well, I should get an answer. That's what they do. Hey, I'd like to work there. Can you answer some questions? Not till you apply. Okay, well, then that's a problem. That's a real problem. And their pay, low. Okay, really low in the industry. We know that. Having a good truck, that's expected. That shouldn't be like a bonus. Because I forget the name of the company. Man, I'm in my 30s. I'm already losing my memory. This company advertised it's had cruise control as part of their truck. Oh, the place in North Dakota. Holland Enterprises, right, that I looked up. They advertise there, all our trucks have cruise control. Oh, wow, that's like the motel that says color TV, you know, or that kind of thing. HBO available, incredible. Of course you have cruise control. ShipX, Eric says you can do 3,500 miles a week if you run. You can. 15,000 is possible, it legally, and we have long length of haul. They're just going to get you money. It's just going to be, the problem is if you're going home more, that's not the place for you. People that want to be home all the time, not going to happen. Any good companies in the Pacific Northwest, Nicholas? Yeah, call Central Oregon Truck Company today. Call them up and go work there. That is, they hauled the nation's Christmas tree this year. I couldn't be happier with the place. You went to Amazon near Chicago, they tried to make you unload. After an hour and a half, they did it. But then you wasted all the time. And I agree, we shouldn't be unloading. Your company should pay you for all that time. Nice sweater, crew chief. Lived in Florida. Glad you aren't you doing a reverse? You don't retire to Ohio. You retire to Florida. Who wants to be in the snow? I mean, horrible. But I do love the sweater. My wife got that for me, so that was pretty nice of her. Ivona, yeah, look, even if they answer wrong, I'd rather they at least answered my questions rather than saying apply. Why should I have to fill this long thing because you need 10 years of your employment history and everything? That's what a recruiter is for. How much does it pay? Well, you got to apply. That's ridiculous. The Stevens recruiter said they couldn't take me when I said I was still in the reserves. Oh, I don't know about that. How come? They don't want to let you out to go to your reserve meetings? I don't know if that's illegal. Probably not, because you don't work there yet. If you work there, they'd have to let you to your meeting. I don't like that. Oh, so you're defending the country? Sorry. We're too busy for that. Yeah, thanks, Marine. Yeah. Hopefully that's up to me. Hit or picked up. You're going to move back to Florida after a year with Pam. Do you know any good companies near Tampa? Well, what I just talked about earlier, CTL, which apparently in Florida, would be a great company. I think that Central Oregon Truck Company will also hire nationwide, which I would also recommend them. You got detention. Good, Frankie. You should get paid for that time. They should already have this set up, but they figured you would just do it. So they go, forget that. We'll just let them sit there and hopefully won't say anything about it. What's my favorite Christmas movie of all time? Christmas movies. Well, I like all the standard movies that were out, so I guess Home Alone. I really like that movie. That's a pretty hilarious movie. And Die Hard is always another good Christmas favorite. Oh, Josh said Die Hard. That's good. He just wrote that on the right. Ivona, yeah, that is good. I think that Die Hard is probably the Christmas movie of all time. Veterans are the best thing to happen to trucking. We'd rather shovel snow than humidity. Well, I don't know about that. I think we're kind of reversed on that. I don't really like the winter time, so. When you were with Stevens, they cut the cruise control and Jake brake off for a period of time. Why? Why would they cut off the Jake and cruise? Why are they cutting the Jake brake off? And how do they do that? You'd have to go in the shop and they disconnect it? What kind of ridiculous thing is that? Did they give you a reason for cutting that off? Oh man, I really love to know that. Oh, now I got to ask places, do you have to leave the Jake turned on for drivers? They go, you'll have to apply before we answer that question. Oh, they're having a Die Hard marathon? That's great. Who's got that? I'll have to check that out. On MyPlex. What the heck is MyPlex? Is that another? Oh, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Those are good too. National Lampoon movies, always great movies. High quality acting in those as well. The first one, of course, the best one, naturally, of the National Lampoon movies. Best starter company for teams living in Houston. Not CRST. Are the two of you going together? And are you in truck school yet? Have you not gone to truck school? Because you say team, for beginning team drivers. That's what you say there. Can you imagine serving your country being thrown into a truck like an imprisoned animal? Yeah, exactly. And then having them say, oh, you're in the military? Forget it. We don't want any part of that. I mean, that's enough to not, just that should be enough to not work there. Captain, thank you for Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you. Oh, I appreciate that. Videos are awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, every trucker driver that works on the holiday. I mean, I've worked many Christmases. I'll be off this year, but I've done many of them. That's why I'm, trying to do a live show tomorrow as well. Work that out. There's going to be a lot of drivers that don't get home. By the way, there's a lot of people in the military not home as well. Always remember that too. It's not just drivers. There are people all over the world that are not getting home for Christmas. A Christmas Story? I guess. The Die Hard would be more my way to go. Going to do the Millis Transfer CL training. Yeah, I like the Millis program. You need a little money up front, but it turns out to be better in the end. Besides Knight, what companies in Vegas are worth mentioning? Is Knight worth mentioning? I don't know companies that are just based in Vegas. I didn't know Knight was a company of note, as they say. Oh, Knight and Note. Like it. Is it a DOT requirement? Didn't say DOT that time. to be clean-shaved working a tanker division. Was told that by Schneider. I don't know if it's a DOT requirement. It's probably some kind of requirement for some kind of face mask that you have to use to get in the tank or something like that if you're hauling chemicals. I mean, I've hauled orange juice. Nobody said anything to me. But, you know, you can smell orange juice all day. So if there's a mask or something, probably. And it might be a DOT. It's probably more of an OSHA thing, another government thing. But they want you to be able to put the mask on for the fumes because dying, that's bad news on that. So there's some kind of requirement for it. That's a real problem. If you got a big, if you're a big fuzz head beard, you know. Stevens is run by Nancy Pelosi. Wow, does she still drive? I hope not. Isn't she like 107? That's my political comment for the day. I do try to stay out of politics. I couldn't resist it. If companies drug test you and live in the state who legalize pot, what do? You don't do pot. You cannot do pot. It is not legal. The drug test is a federal requirement, and somebody always argues with me on here about it. What I'm going to say is no way. No way can you do any kind of pot and then pass a drug test, period. And I'll maintain that on this channel until the federal government legalizes it. But you cannot, if you fail because of pot, you're finished. And good luck getting a job then. You'll wish you had 2 misdemeanors. Your husband will be going to trucking school in California. He has been denied by 2 carriers. Why? Because his convictions are not 7 years. Any advice on who hires a new CDL husband and wife team? I assume those are felonies because misdemeanors are usually not as big of a problem. That's a problem. You're going to have to do a lot of calling if you have 2 felonies that are not 7 years. A lot. Call Western Express. I hate to say that. But I mean, oh, somebody said that, Vlad, right? Call Western. I mean, I hate to say Western, but call Western Express, maybe. You was told to help learn how to drive the mountains. Made no sense to me. Yes. Otherwise, like I have companies on my website, truckinganswersnation.com. I've got under trucking companies, there's a list of phone numbers. Just start calling, but probably start at Western Express. But, oh, that's a real problem. You may have to wait, maybe. There's probably somebody that will take him. And it depends what it's for, too. Monica's on your way home. Good. Are you going to make it home by Christmas? Don't know where you are or where you live. Merry Christmas to you. Face mask requirement in Schneider tanker. Yeah, because of the hazmat stuff, right? Jake brake and cruise are enabled by computer. Oh, so they can turn you off remotely? But why are they turning the Jake off? What are they doing? Food safety, yes, right, Ivona, but hazmat required. That's what I'm thinking. They don't care if you get orange juice all over yourself. You're going together, your girlfriend and I, not in truck school. We can roll. Okay, well, you can relocate. You may not have to. A lot of places let you take truck home. Yeah, straight up, you cannot do pot. Somebody always comes in, or maybe not today, but no way, right? No way. Doesn't matter if it's legal in the state. Doesn't matter. Cannot do it. You get a drug test, you're finished. And when you fail a drug test, you are not going to get a new job. Even Western is going to turn their nose up at you, and that's going to say something. Right, Millis is paying 43 cents after 3 weeks. That's excellent. They have really good pay and a really good training system. You know, there's been somebody I've talked to on here many times about Stevens, or about Stevens, about Millis, and we've gone over it, and he really likes it and explained the whole program to me. I really think it's a great deal. Ivona, you can't do drugs and have a trucking job. I agree. I mean, no drug. Shouldn't be doing drugs anyway. How about that? More politics. Just say no. Who remembers that? A quick holiday wrap. We can't just rap right off the top of our head. We got to write that down. Pot is still illegal, says the Mr. President. Now, there's somebody who should know. The President of the United States. They decide to enforce it. It doesn't matter what state it is. Probably decided by Supreme Court. And they're still not going to, because of the risk, companies, I think, will still say no to it. A company's going to just say no. A huge amount of risk in an accident. When there's pot in your system, oh my gosh, the millions of dollars, the company's still going to say no. Sergeants, they only dopes do use dope. Yes. Oh, Monica's only got 130 miles. You are going to make it home for Christmas. That's great. And let's hope everybody gets paid for Christmas as well if you're a company driver. But at least get home if you want to get home. I've seen companies advertising this. Martin is one of them. They guarantee to get you home no matter what, it said. They said that they'll fly you home or whatever they have to do to get you home for Christmas. So, and other companies have done the same thing. For those that are arguing about the marijuana, exactly, stuff that and cabbage, right? You are not going to be able to drive on it. No, I don't think it's ever going to be allowed. It'd be like drinking and driving. You can go buy booze, right? We can go buy some high quality Schlitz or something like that, right? Red, white, and blue. But you can't drink it and drive, even though it's legal. So that's just never going to happen. Anyone know about Schneider Tanker Division? Well, I don't know what they pay, but I'm a fan of getting to be more and more of a fan of Schneider for sure. Yeah, you have to be clean shaven if you wear a mask, if you're correct. So that's a problem if you got a nice flowing beard. Central Oregon is a great company. Oh, if you don't own your truck and have a dog, they don't allow dogs at Central Oregon? That's too bad. I have the email to the CEO. We'll give him a call about that. Oh, try Carolina Cargo. I didn't think about them. And they will maybe hire you as well. Maybe. Oh, it's so hard to say that, but they might. Most want to hire you out of a different school. Oh, after 6 months? Yeah, but, right, so you have to go to their school because they want you to be trained their way, right? Any company out there have issues with bringing pets? Yeah, a lot of them don't like you to bring your pet. If you've got a pet, you'll have to ask them. And some of them only have a certain amount of weight. Celadon, though, I think it was Celadon we talked about. They went to like 75 pounds. You can bring like a miniature horse with you or 2 goats. So one for dinner and one for later, I guess. Marijuana is still a federal offense. Right. You can't. No way. No way. Before the companies say no, the insurance. Yes, because they're the ones who are going to pay in an accident. You can't do it. Okay, so Monica is going to make it to Houston. At least you're going to have good weather too. Here, it's super nice. It's sunny again today. And it's going to be sunny tomorrow. It's amazing. Oh, okay, so at Millis, you need a year of experience if you went to an outside school other than their place. After talking to a multitude of trucking companies, it seems to me that the vast majority blow smoke and are not upfront. Really, I found they are up front. They're like, Pam is like, yeah, 30 cents. Other than, basically, Stevens is one of the only companies that wouldn't tell me much. Most places are pretty upfront about it. Oh, yeah, we're going to pay you 30 cents. Oh, they're like all happy about it. But then, and I was going to be mad at the recruiter, but she may not know. She probably works in the office there, never drives. So she thinks, well, these drivers are making more than me. That's pretty good money. She may actually not know it's not a lot of money. So I can't even really be mad at the recruiters about it. It's the people up higher that are making all the money on it. That's who we got to be mad about it. Schlitz. Amos says I'm showing my age. What? Isn't that the king of all king of beers? Right? And red, white, and blue. These are some good quality names I'm naming out here. Carolina Cargo will take felonies, but they treat you like an inmate. I mean... All right, people have asked about Carolina Cargo. I called them a few weeks ago, and they offered me a solo job at $1,000 a week salary because I told them I was going to be moving in the area, and did they have something? Yeah, they were going to give me a solo, but it paid $1,000 a week salary no matter how far I run for 4.5 days a week. So that's what they offered me. They didn't say anything about mandatory teaming, and so 4.5 days gone for $1,000 is not great, but basically, if you can't go anywhere else, this will get you your experience while you work off the time to let these felonies or whatever's in your past go farther in your past and show that you have a good record. So unfortunately, you may have to go there, maybe. There's a lot of wood hauling transporters in the Pacific Northwest, I bet, right. But there's only one Central Oregon trucking company. CFI pet deposit is $500. Ooh, that's interesting. I don't know if Celadon makes you pay per goat. Marijuana is not legal in any state. His law is not. Although you must be licensed and taxed. Yeah, exactly. We can't do it. People ask about that a lot. We can't do it. Most of the companies that allow pets on the flatbed side, there's not that many. There's companies that allow pets. I do find places that allow pets. Monica, red, white, and blue. Yeah. These are quality names I'm putting out here. I would shave its burnt. Yeah, I would shave its bum. I grew this beard in my 20s. You have no choice. This company gives you a chance is gold. Carolina Cargo is a godsend for some people. Yeah, it might be, right? It could be the best thing that ever happened to somebody. So we're putting it out there. It may get you back into trucking. And Western maybe get you back into trucking. If anybody wants a job with Millis, talk to Peggy, right? Call Peg. She's probably off today. Oh, thank you, Jansen. I appreciate that. Merry Christmas to you. You get 100 extra for working tomorrow? Well, that's 100 you didn't have. Do you have to work? And do you get also holiday pay, or is it just 100 if you work? Goats on trucks, my new movie. Yeah, look, when they have a 75-pound weight limit, I mean, you can get pretty creative in what you bring with you. And if they go, well, that goat's too big, you go, well, I'm only going to be here till tomorrow. Vlad, pygmy goats. You could bring nearly a full-size goat with a 75-pound weight limit. You don't have to get pygmy goats. You almost went to sell it on because they have a school and terminal close by. That's never a great reason to look at a place. It's worth looking at them, certainly. They're almost closed. You got paid 100 for sitting at the house today and tomorrow. Correct. Some people get both days paid. What time am I thinking of having the live broadcast? It'll be sometime in the afternoon. Between 1 and 4 sometime Eastern. Frankie dodged a bullet. Yeah, maybe. Do I know about engine swaps? No. Company driver, truck problems, just go to the company and they deal with whatever like that. That's more of an owner-operator, and so I don't. Baby dairy cows. Oh, you know, that could serve a dual purpose there. You could have 60 chihuahuas. That's right. Anybody know TP Trucking, Combined Transport? Yeah, what's going on with them? Here they spit. Yeah, don't look at them. You don't want to look right at them. But the good thing, you know, they can poke their head out the window for the DOT when they ask for your logbook. Say, oh yeah, here's a logbook for you. Just past ShipX says up to 60,000. He was doing 65. ShipX does have a 65 mile an hour speed limit, and they paying more than 60,000, certainly, with the bonuses that they're giving. And I see them freezing. I don't know what the problem is here, so I do apologize for that. But if I stop it and restart it, everybody's off. So, Benny, U.S. Express, since you retired from the Air Force. Now, are you crew chief? Right. So, on a dedicated run, it isn't bad. Just 100 if I want to go home tomorrow night after work, no holiday. I'm not a fan. The 100's better than nothing, right? We always take 100 over nothing, but I think companies should pay holidays. I can assume that wherever you work, since you are only getting 100 if you work, they don't have holiday pay other than working it. So they should pay holidays. All standard holidays should be paid at a day's pay. So they can do better than that. Grandson wants to go outside and play. Okay. Thank you for coming in anyway. Everybody have a safe Christmas. You have an enjoyable Christmas, and we'll see you next Monday. Drinking the Schlitz, yeah, you gotta pound it. When it's 25 cents a can, I mean, you can get a lot of it, right? I don't know why it's so cheap when it's so good. Ivona, thank you for coming in, and have a nice Christmas Eve and Christmas. And I'll be on at some point. I don't know what time tomorrow. I will be on some point live between 1 and 4 probably p.m. Eastern tomorrow for a while to see if anybody's out there, see what everybody's doing on Christmas. Drivers are stuck at truck stops or whatever. It'll be on the road. It'll be the mobile unit. Goats, one for dinner, one for the cheese. Yeah, exactly. Merry Christmas from Sea Hill. Oh, take a look at Simple Living with Papa. Interesting. Yeah, let's check that out, right? Yeah, exactly, BAT. Somebody finally got that. Oh, fried turkey. Wow, that's interesting for Christmas. transporting ship containers better than driving a dry van? It depends where you live and what they do. You got to go to the railroad all the time and get the things. If you go for a lift or whatever, you got to get a lift off and on. I used to run them around Chicago, containers, but it was rail to rail. So you'd have to pick them up. They were cross-railing them because the railroad didn't go where the container was going. So I didn't have to do too many lifts or whatever, but you'd have to sit there and wait for the guy to put it on. So it just depends how much time it takes and what the pay is, right? Oh, let's see. Okay, you missed the talk about California. I'll get right to that here. Meyer Dedicate pays $75. Well, it's still better than nothing, right? $75, but it should be, well, you're not working tomorrow. Meyer's closed. So at least you're getting a holiday. That's something. That you're getting a holiday for not working. Okay, so California is going, the FMCSA said to California, look, you goofballs, you can't have separate laws just for you. People that were in California were getting a paid break and their rest break, their lunch break was paid. That ends. FMCSA said you don't have to do that. You don't have to give a paid lunch break to just California drivers. So if you were in one of the California drivers that were getting these paid breaks, your company still can pay it, but they don't have to. And believe me, they're not going to if they don't have to. Let's just be honest about it. They're not going to pay it. So the paid break ends for California drivers because FMCSA said you only have to follow the same rules as the federal government. So that's going to kill a lot of people's checks. Monica is back driving. Yeah, you don't have far to go and for good weather. But thanks for coming in. I appreciate it. And we'll see you at least next Monday, I hope. Mama Bear, thank you for coming in here. And okay, good. I'll hope to see everybody on tomorrow if I can get on for at least a little while. 1 to 4 sometime. You're paying putt-putt. Not here, you're not. It's too cold. The place closed 2 months ago for winter. You're looking to do better. Yeah, thanks again, and Merry Christmas to you. They should, a place that doesn't pay holidays probably is not super great. Now, maybe they have a really high pay rate other than that and just don't pay the holidays. You just never know. But really, let's be honest. 8, 10 holidays, they should at least pay. There's at least 7 or so you should get paid. But you're still somewhere, and they're still at least going to pay something. You've seen Ashley Furniture Trucks. Do I know anything about them? They're like a huge carrier of their own product, which is great. So hauling your own stuff, I've always recommended a private fleet because you don't have to worry about all this general freight. So what do they pay? I don't know. But I know hauling your own stuff is way better than hauling general freight because you're going to have your own loads. Burris Logistics. Oh, nice. Saddle Creek. You got a job offer. I never even heard of them. What's the offer? Let's do that. Oh, finally, sign cutter. Somebody from North Dakota. Merry Christmas. It's already Christmas there because of the time zone, right? I went to public school. I don't know the difference. So what? Big Trucker Strong. That's the name, right? What are they offering? And then we'll see. And are you a company driver? If the FMCSA has that authority, how do they allow CARB? Because Amos, CARB has a carve out. They got an exemption when all the emission stuff started. That CARB has an exemption from the federal government, official exemption. This California rest break isn't part of that. This was just a thing that they did, that they passed after all this stuff. But CARB, even for cars, right, and semis, is separate, and they get to have their own regulations apart from the federal government. The current president and administration wants to change that. He said, hey, this is ridiculous. People got to make cars for 2 different places. And trucks have to have some emissions and some, but so far they haven't changed it yet. But CARB is separate because of the emissions. It gets its own exemption. That when the EPA started all that, California got an exemption for that. So that is going to get to stay. Do I know about H.O. Wolding? No. You want an exemption? Yes. We should each apply for our own exemption. SS. You were laid off from a telecom company making $92,000. Yikes. Well, you need to get into trucking, and there's no more layoffs. And I appreciate you being here, though. Company driver home every day. All right, working nights. I'm in, right? 900 minimum is low. Weekly at both. So the pay there is kind of low in the area. So then we have to go with the no touch and how many hours to go $900. Then I guess it could be okay. So I shouldn't say it's low until we see how many hours do you have to work to make $900. If it's 25, we're all in. Right? If it's 70, then it's not going to be such a great thing. Where was that from? What city is that? Oh, it didn't say. Because I've never heard of that, but it sounds like only because of Saddle and I don't know anything about anything, I guess. It sounds like Oklahoma City, you know, or somewhere out west. I picture people, maybe, El Paso, maybe, which seems to be like the black hole of low-paying companies. They all gathered around that one spot. Wild West didn't do good in the survey, in the crap voting either. I hope you've all gone to vote as well. I should ask everybody to go over and vote for Crap Company of the Year sometime at truckinganswersnation.com. It's just going to be the greatest thing. When I get that trophy made, I'm going to have it engraved, and it's got a huge pile of crap on it. I mean, it just doesn't get any better than that. I'm looking for a certificate place. We're going to get him a certificate. There's going to be a presentation. One of their executives are coming to the presentation. I can just pretty much guarantee that for sure. So there. But I want everybody to go over there and vote. And as always, right, you can always write to me at mark@truckinganswersnation.com. Write me an email. I answer everybody's email. So I answer within a couple days. I answer everyone's email, including on Christmas. 5 days a week, 2 days off in Orlando. Oh, okay. Saddles, I don't know. It's roughly 50 to 60 hours. No. 900 is the minimum guarantee. Oh, all right. Well, that's different. 900 minimum weekly. All right, but 60 hours, that's 20 hours of overtime. For 900, you're at $13 an hour. That's not, you're going to make more than that. That's, what, a little over $13 an hour. Not a fan. So if you can make more, then yeah, you're home every day. If that's going to suit you, you know, then the minimum guarantee, I'm in then, because I love a guarantee, because you can make money even if there's a problem. So that's fine. Your son and you like the crap company of the week. Yeah, it has its fans. Oh, wait, the Korean Mafia has something to say. He who screws up team with GOAT for 2 weeks. Oh, that's good. They probably would say that. Right. If you screw up, you're going to have to team with the GOAT. But unfortunately, only one of you come back, as we found out. Joshua, you know, Crap Company left for a few weeks, and then I had to bring it back. There were tons of emails about it, and so that's why it came back. I didn't think it was gonna. People just liked it, and then I got a lot of emails. So it's always fun hearing these places. Oh, 30 cents, and they're all happy about it, like it's some kind of great thing. Big Trucker Strong. Okay, you're welcome. Merry Christmas to you. Look, figure the hourly out, right? At 60 hours, you got 20 hours of overtime. So 900 a week by 70, really, so we'd be 70. That's only $10.50 an hour. As I think about it here, that is not great, right? $10 an hour, 10, 50, 11. It's not a lot of money. But if you're making 12, 11, 1200, then we're in the money, right? You're still hoping to get an exemption from the Fair Labor Standards Act. We actually want to get rid of the exemption that we're already in the Fair Labor Standards Act for. I answer emails. I appreciate that. Am I really trucking? I do truck. If anybody follows me on Instagram, there's some videos in there in the truck. I'm testing this Falcon Eye dash cam right now that got sent to me by Falcon Eye in the truck. And so I had that in there. I had a picture of that in there. So yeah, I still truck too. Hard to believe, but I do truck just like everybody else. I'm out driving on the roads. The Star car is no more. A porcelain shuttle valve in the injection pump shattered and took out the motor. Well, that is a problem. That's a huge problem. No parts for that. Oh, you can't wait to see the video? Yeah, it's going to be the greatest day ever and the worst day for them. And I'm hoping they're going to be at the truck show because, look, let's be honest about it. Even if it's just me, I hope some of you are there. We all get out our phones or whatever and film it. But even if it's just me, they're in public at a truck show. What are they going to say? What are they going to throw stuff at me? Do they have bags of you know, that they use to go to the bathroom and behind their thing that they just throw at me, they're not going to do anything. They're just going to accept it. And that's going to be the best. McDonald's employees are getting $15 an hour. That's what I'm saying. How many hours do we work for the $900? But if you can get more, it's worth more. Stay away from Billy Goat milk. I'll take your word for that. How do you find me on Instagram? I'm at Trucking Answers on Instagram. Just seek me out. Porcelain pumps are the worst idea ever. That's beyond what I'm knowing in that. Josh, I don't actually have that in this description. Sometimes I do put my social medias. Maybe I did put it in there. It's not in every one. But I'm at Trucking Answers. I'm on Twitter, Trucking Answers, Facebook. I try to update to those pretty regularly. I do a blog at truckinganswersnation.com. So there's that as well. You can go read that. There's a new one out every day. 4 days a week, let's put it that way. I'm going to need bodyguards around me when presenting. Yes. Hopefully all of you can do that for me. Will run interference for me. What I'd like to do is have some people already around the booth so that we kind of get the booth. It would be all people from here. And so you go there a few minutes early and start talking to them so we know that we can walk right up to the booth, because you'll move out of the way right then and we get right up to the booth because it's all us standing around the booth. That would be the best way to do it. And then kablamo, there's their trophy, and they're live, right, from everybody. They're live from everybody. That's going to be the best way to do it. Kentucky Trucker, you want to be there to record? Yeah, everybody come out and record it. Everybody put it live, post it on your site, you know, whatever, however you want to do it. Everybody should record it and then link them to it. Only 260,000 miles. Ugh, still warranty? How do I feel about $20 an hour, no overtime? Bad. I feel really bad about it because there's no overtime. You should get paid overtime. So I feel like 70 hours is only $1,400 when it should be $1,800. So they should pay overtime. They don't. It's not that they're prohibited from it. Don't let them fool you. They can pay it. They just don't. The government doesn't prohibit from them. It just allows them to not pay it. That's two different things. Yeah, crew chief, exactly. We need to get, take that exemption away. Ironically, I just did a blog about this today. I mean, this is not going to solve everybody's problem, though. Minimum wage at 70 hours a week is only $616. So as long as you get at least that much, and that includes overtime. So as long as you're getting $616 for 70 hours, they comply with the law. So trying to get minimum wage is not the best idea. I think I call it, the minimum wage mindset. Don't try to get the minimum. Don't strive to get the lowest pay and say, well, at least I'm getting that, right? We need more than that. $616 is minimum for 70 hours. Above that, and you're getting more than minimum wage. So even if they change this minimum wage law, how many of you will that affect? Probably hardly anyone. If you figured out your hours at $7.25, probably wouldn't affect hardly anybody. Should it be changed? Yes. We should still qualify for it, for times that you're sitting without being paid. But as long as they give you $616, they're probably not going to have to do much different. The crap company you were at, says the Kentucky Trucker, you weren't making any money. You're making more than at a factory, right, a week than being away from home at random truck stops. Road drivers should make the most money of anybody. You're gone. So if you have to spend any time away, days or weeks away, that should be the highest paid drivers. And then it would come down for people that are home because of the benefit of being home. But this road work where I see 30 cents a mile of Pam to be gone, forget that. I mean, that's just real. They should pay more. If another company can give 60, why is Pam giving 30 cents? That's my question. But the boss is getting rid of, okay, good. So it's under warranty, but get rid of it. Once you have too many problems, boot it and try something else. Was there a crap company the year before this? Maybe somebody else did it before Trucking Answers was born in 2017. But I haven't seen anybody else doing it because people get a little nervous about saying stuff like that. My wife was super nervous about it. So, according to the Pam lawsuit, You are to be paid at least minimum wage from the time you leave till you return. Even so, which I don't have a calculator here, I'd have to do that. 160, that'd be more. So if you're 168 hours, the PAM lawsuit said 16 hours a day is what it said. Because they exempted 8 hours for sleeping is how that PAM lawsuit, which I did a video about this a few weeks ago. So when that came out, that PAM lawsuit, which I did. So 16 hours a day, 5 days is 80 hours. It's still only 700 some bucks a week, right? So that's a problem. As long as you're getting more than that, they're in compliance. Minimum wage is not the savior of the trucking industry. The court rules as long as you respond for the truck. I agree. Look, you're in the truck. They say, oh, you don't have your responsibility. Well, then can I go walk around, to the movies? No, you have to stay with the truck. Well, then you do have responsibility for the truck. You should get paid. Can you negotiate your pay as a newbie? Yes, you can. Many companies hit you with the experience factor to derail the conversation. You can always negotiate everything. Right, I get free. We had free delivery on some mattresses or something I had delivered, and they're like $25. I'm like, I was all $25. I was like all indignant about it. Oh my gosh, right? And they deliver them free. So you can negotiate everything. Tell them, well, I'm not working for that. Unfortunately, most places will say, well, that's our policy and that's what it pays. So you can try. You can try it. Will you be successful? Unlikely. Maybe. But unlikely. Maybe they'll give you a couple cents. Maybe. OTR drivers should earn the most. I totally agree. Life on the road is expensive and you're away from your loved ones. Yes. You got to feed your face. Your family's at home dealing with whatever. They should be paid the most money. The most money. If carriers are forced to pay by the hour, the best ones will pay the best. Still, just like now. Crap companies will struggle to pay drivers. It'll be a level playing field. I agree. It'll be kind of like now. As a Chicago guy, you want some money? Yeah. Oh, right. Mr. Penske. We may need you to call a favor in at the show and get some blockades that way. 164 times 925. Minimum wage is $7.25. And you didn't qualify overtime in that. But minimum wage is $7.25 an hour. We don't have top-notch paint at my company, but they do hire felons. Okay. And hard to hire people case by case. There are places that do that. There are places, depending what you did, that you can get a job. And everybody, look, I'm not one of those people that say, oh, you're a felon, you should never work again. You should just go hide in the corner. I don't think so. If you get out, you did your time, you need to work like everybody else. And so there are places that will hire you. Now, if you keep committing felonies, of course, I don't know what to say. Then, of course, you go to jail. But if you're out and want to change your life, you can do it. Oh, Arkansas is 925. All right. And see, that's the problem. If we get exempted, get the exemption removed from the FLSA, federal minimum wage is $7.25. And that's the government, if worst case, the government is going to say $7.25 because it's interstate. So it's going to qualify under federal. I mean, even I think it would be a nightmare to pay drivers the minimum wage of their location each day. Because as you drive through Arkansas, $9.25, but maybe you started out in another state where it's $7.25. And then when you go over to California, it may be $12.50 and maybe $8 somewhere else. So I think that would be a nightmare because each day you could be in 3 different minimum wage places for different amounts of time. So best case scenario is we get it removed. Truck drivers have to get minimum wage plus overtime, but it's going to be federal. The ATA, they're not going to allow this anyway, really. But the ATA is going to say, no way. Look at the nightmare of all the different minimum wages. We can't figure this out. We're stupid at the ATA, even though we have computers and everything. But I think you'd get best case scenario. You'll get federal minimum wage of $7.25 plus overtime. That's going to be the best case. And it would be only time working. That's how I feel it would be worded. So on duty and driving time is how they would do it. Because they're not going to pay you for sleeping unless they're forced to by the court like this PAM where you get 16 hours a day. I just don't think it's going to happen. I really don't see it happening at all. I really don't see it changing for drivers. But I don't think it's going to have that much of an effect on the industry. ABP, right. Better they earn an honest living and stop breaking the law. I agree. You shouldn't break the law even if you don't earn an honest living. I mean, you shouldn't be breaking the law no matter what your situation is, of course. But there are people that get out, did something wrong, and then that follows them their whole life. And it really isn't fair. You could be 55 and something you did when you're 18, they still like, oh, well, what is this? And you've done nothing all these years. You really did change your life. That isn't fair to people. It isn't fair. So if you want to make a living, I'm totally with it. 100%. Go make a living. Exactly. The court ruled in a lawsuit against Werner that it's by the carrier of state. That'd be incredibly hard to, that'd be really hard to do. Okay, by the carrier of state. Okay, so the location of their headquarters, you're saying, for Werner. Got it. Nobody's striving for minimum wage. Everybody would get a different job. Yeah, I think people make more than minimum wage. That's what I'm saying, Ivona. I think that getting that taken away isn't going to really affect anybody. And if it does, you're at the wrong company. You can make way more money than that. They would probably set it where your home terminal is. That's what we're finding out here. And that state's minimum wage. Well, that would work out good for people in New York where it's, what, 14 or something like that? Good point about the minimum wage. Guessing that will either be federal wage or the carrier's home state. That's interesting that Pat is saying the Werner lawsuit was by the carrier state. That's why if you drive for Prime, you have to exempt yourself from Missouri. How do you exempt yourself from a state? You say, I'm one of those non-citizens. There's probably, what do you sign something there at Prime? Is this some other kind of, Prime is like an onion where I keep peeling stuff back and it just gets worse and worse. Do you sign saying I'm not a member of the state of Missouri or something? That's interesting. You can only be on duty 100 hours in 7 days. You can be on duty as many hours as you want in 7 days. You just couldn't drive. Everyone should work for a carrier out of California. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. What about drivers that work for a high minimum wage state? What? San Francisco's 15 or so. Washington State also, right? There's some cities there that are 15 or going to $15 an hour. So, I mean, with overtime, that would pay pretty good for 100 hours a week. You got a Kentucky trucker. I got a buddy who did time in prison. When he got out, he went and got his CDL. Good. He changed. And we all did something stupid. That's what I'm saying. I totally agree with you. He can go drive, change his life. Absolutely. And that shouldn't, I think it should be cleared from his record after 10 years. I don't think they should be able to find it. It isn't fair because it's going to follow him his whole life. If you do something 40 years ago, I mean, come on, people. We got to have some kind of forgiveness, for crying out loud. And now if you continue to commit felonies every 3 months, that's a different story. But if you come out and change your life, all right, I'm with you. You changed your life. Welcome back to America. That's what I say, right? They ask you what you did 7 years ago, but they don't remember what they had for lunch yesterday. Yes. Come on. You have to fill out a form in the state of Missouri saying you're a non-resident every year? Really? Nobody said that. Where are these Prime people? So everybody that works there says, I don't live here. What do they do about residents of Missouri? Because I got to believe there are Prime drivers that live in Missouri. You know, that have a Missouri license and a Missouri house and everything, you know. A Missouri goat. They have all these things that are Missouri. It's got the Mizzou stamped on everything. There are 40 billboards like Burma shave boards out there. So I got to believe that what do Missouri residents do at Prime? Please retain illegally my escrow. That's very good. I haven't heard any from Prime yet. CRST is the winner. There should be an award for that. Am I still in my 30s? Absolutely. Doesn't it look like it? I mean, absolutely. Extreme upper 30s, but still. I do a lot of stuff. What company do I drive for? Yes, Wild Bill, that's very good. It's a Missouri law, not a Prime law. How can that be a Missouri law that you don't live here? But what about the people that live in Missouri? Prime lights that have people get their CDL Missouri even though they live in another state. Right, that's one thing. Once they get their CDL Missouri, they have to transfer it to their home state. That's fine. But what about people that live in Missouri? They're Missouri residents. I don't live here, but but here's my Missouri driver's license. Right, exactly. But I'm not a resident here. I vote here, live here. Here's my goat, right? All that. I have a Mizzou diploma, right? I read the Burma Shave boards all the time. I mean, come on. You just heard the state of Iowa is banning Jake brakes? I don't think so. I mean, where'd you hear it? Let's go look it up. But where did you hear that? How could they ban it in the whole state? Do I know Larry Bird? No, he lives in southern Indiana somewhere, right? Evansville area or something? Because he has a bunch of car dealerships down there, of all things. He's like, I'm retired from this. I'm going to own a bunch of car dealerships. They're all a bunch of GM dealerships in the Evansville area, Bird, Chevy, and all that stuff. And that's him. That owns those, because I hear the commercials for him. I'm Larry Bird, and here's my car dealerships or whatever. Your Missouri license would be invalid if you filled out that paper. Yeah, I mean, you can't say I don't live in Missouri and then vote in Missouri. There's your problem. There's your federal offense, voting. By staying to the state, I don't live here, and then voting would be a federal problem, depending who you're voting for. And then your license is required to be changed within 30 days of you moving. I mean, that's a huge problem. I'm sure Prime could care less. They got 400 people coming in on the crack hound every 3 days. So what do they care? Your DC is in Tip City. That's Indiana. USX got us an exemption from all but 20% of their city income tax. Now, how do they do that? Well, you don't live there, though, because you don't live there. Arkansas used to do the same. You have to file a non-resident form each year in Missouri. Not just truckers, everybody who works in Missouri and lives elsewhere. Well, that's one thing, I guess, if you live somewhere else. Because that's legal, right? You don't really live there. So that's fair. So what they're really saying is that we don't want to have to pay you the local higher wage. That just encourages them to hire people from another state where the wages are low. Now, Prime made you a felon. Yeah, look, if you say to them, I don't live here, and you vote in an election, that's a problem, right? That's a huge problem. We're going to have to deport you for that. If you get tired of buying DEF fluid, just fill your tank with tap water. Yikes. It's 67% deionized water anyway, but that's like over half and less than a whole thing. DEF isn't injected into fuel, it goes in the exhaust. It does. I wouldn't fill it with that, but that'd be interesting to try. Will you ever run out of crap companies? Will we ever run out? No. I don't think so. I mean, eventually, if I live long enough, we might. But I'd say we have about 100 years of them left. You're 60 and 2. Break down the emissions of nitrogen and water anyway. I don't know what would happen if you put water in it. Doesn't it have some kind of sensor in it? Or do they just say that to you? Woodbury County banned Jake brakes, but it's unenforced. Well, like the city here has signs on the roads coming in, no Jake brakes. But I don't ever know if I've ever seen anybody pulled over for it. I don't see the whole state banning it. I mean, you got interstates. We only spend 20% of our workday at the DC. Oh, it's Tip City, Ohio. All right. And so you're only paying 20%. Basically, minute by minute, you're paying the tax. Branson, Missouri people are okay. Yeah, you know who's down there? That Russian comedian. What the heck is his name? But the out-of-staters use Prime address to get their driver's license. Then they're supposed to transfer to their home state. And some drivers are. Well, Prime should be on top of that, saying as soon as you go back home, get your license. And then we can't send you back out until you send us a copy of it. That's how they'd solve that problem. Years ago, you made less than minimum wage at Werner, which is why I'm not there. That's a problem. And I agree. If you're making less, move on. Don't worry about the law changing. Move yourself on now, because that's going to be a long time to change. You have to have urea. I think there's a sensor in there that can read all that stuff when it goes by. Lots of states don't have reciprocal agreements with other states. That's interesting. So they only get to pay you in your own home state. And I believe ELDs would be easy to pay by the hour. Absolutely. I don't know why everybody isn't paid by the hour with overtime. They look on all your driving and on duty time. Super simple to do. They don't want to do that because that would really cost them. Kenny, do I like Twinkies? Heck yeah. Who doesn't like a Twinkie? You'll never run out of crap companies. It wouldn't seem like it. There's just too many. And it's, even when you expose them, they're like, who cares, right? And they still get people to come over there. It's just crazy. They just bring pizza into truck school, which I've heard from people. And so then people are like, oh, pizza. Prime Missouri drivers don't have to worry about anything like that, right? You don't run DEF or ELD in your new truck. You tell them, Ryano. If you have felonies, I suggest finding an independent carrier that is more lenient. Yeah, they might be right. They might pay you great, not as great. I agree. And also, I've recommended this to people to see what you think. Go to a company that has, or a person maybe that has 2 or 3 trucks, where you can talk directly to the owner of the trucks and say, and come clean and say, this is what happened, this is what I did, here's what I'm trying to do. And then that person could give you a chance also. So there's that. That's another way to do it, you know, to where you can talk directly to an owner like that. Illinois doesn't remove felonies. Yeah, you can have, some of them you can have scrubbed. It depends. I'm not a lawyer on that. And some, like this, Ivona, you can't get rid of. Have I heard of anyone accidentally filling up a truck with gasoline? Well, no, but when I started driving not long ago, because I'm only in my 30s, they used to say in the winter, add gasoline to the fuel. These were the old timers had been driving, you know, since before the dawn of time, and when dinosaurs were out. And they would always say, well, you'd add some couple gallons of gasoline in there, cleans the engine out, and nothing freezes. You know, and that's what these guys were doing. I never did it, but that's what they talked about. If you're a prime driver living in Missouri, why did you have to fill out an exemption form? Well, you already live there. You can't be exempted from the state you live in, it seems like. Yakov Smirnov, that's the guy, right? He's the Russian. I can remember lots of stupid stuff. That guy, right? Is he not funny? Come on. We love him, and he does Branson all the time. Who thought they could put on the babushka hat and make a living on it? No idea. Vlad says catastrophic explosion. I'm telling you, I don't know what would happen with these electronic engines, but guys were talking about this when I started driving. They're like, just pour gasoline, you know, a couple gallons of gasoline each tank. That's what they said. 2018 glider kit. So, right, so you don't have to worry about any of it for some time till they change that law. DC, Merry Christmas to you. Thank you for coming in. Freightliner or Volvo, always take the Volvo, rides much better. Even though the mechanics don't like it, I don't care, I don't have to fix it. With the better ride, and it shifts 1,000 times better. The I shift on them is really great. It shifts way, way better than the slow eating that can't figure anything out. It's more like the problem is red goes to green. Step on it, bang, Volvo picks it up. Freightliner, first gear. Are you going 30? Oh, you must want first gear. Right, so crazy. I've seen some super high RPMs out of the Freightliner. I don't know why they have it set up like that. Oh, there's a green light. Let's go to first gear. That truck has been 2,500 plus many times with that automatic, and I have no idea why it does that or how it gets such good mileage or why it doesn't explode, but that's how they have it set up, and there's nothing I can do about it. Peterbilt's our best truck on the road. That's for you, Ryano. Most company drivers don't get that choice. I haven't seen your new truck, but I can imagine what it looks like. I can always revisit crap companies. Yes, but I won't need to. There's going to be plenty more. And what I'm going to do next year, I think, is each quarter we can vote, and for like just a shorter period till the next Wednesday, and then those 4 companies at the end of the year can battle it out. Freightliner is cheaper repairs, says Vlad. That's what the mechanics say. Now, of course, I don't pay for it, but they don't like the Volvo because it takes 3 days to get a part in. That's what they complain about the most. You know, 2 pretty good companies in Arkansas. You work for one that hires felons. It's usually case by case, but you can put that up or not, whatever you want to do. But there are places felons can get jobs, of course. It's just harder. I mean, I'm sure when you get a felony and come out of jail or prison or whatever, I'm sure you realize it's going to be a little more difficult. Prime drivers that live in Missouri do not fill an exempt form. They wouldn't be able to, right? Only prime drivers from another state. Once obtained, then transfer to their home state, but some drivers are too ignorant for that. Well, I mean, some drivers are not trained properly by places like Prime. They could just have them sign it right there. It's just like, here, fill this out and sign it. I mean, it's Prime's. If Prime wants them to do it, Prime should have them sign it right there in front of them and say, now when you go home, and tie a little thing around their finger so so when they get home, their mom sees it and they can say, what is that? Oh, I've got to go change my license when I get home. That's how and that would solve all those problems. Yakov Smirnoff, exactly, Roger, right. America's favorite comedian. Ivona, that iShift, isn't that shift great? It's 1,000 times better than an Eaton. I don't know what they're doing over there. Eaton needs to go to Volvo and spy on them through the window and figure out what they're doing with the computer. The D12 is not bad to price out changing a Volvo crank dampener. I cannot imagine what it costs. The problem the mechanics talk about is the wait time on parts. That's what they gripe about the most. Because then I got to get a loaner truck for 3 weeks when they're trying to get some simple part. What's my policy with driving on black ice on the road? You can drive on whatever, but when you think it's unsafe, park it. And usually I think that this is just a thumb thing. You know, if you can't go half or close to half the speed limit on the road, it's probably too bad to be driving on. I mean, if you're plodding along at 20 on the interstate, it's probably horrible out. So maybe time to get it parked. But always parking is a personal thing. If it's unsafe for you, it's unsafe. You know, if you get the traction control light every time you try to give it any kind of fuel, it's time to get parked. You know, any kind of unsafe. And believe me, I'm already parked. So when you park, we'll talk at the truck stop. I'm already in there parked. You know, I'm not a super trucker out here driving through a blizzards all day long. No way, right? I'm parked safe in the truck stop, you know, getting my roller wieners and, you know, enjoying my day. Several companies accepted felonies case by case. Yours hires there too. That's what they say. A lot of places always, when I ask them, they go, well, it's case by case. What did you do? I go, the last person that asked me that, you can't find him. And so that's why they don't hire me at a lot of places. So that's a real problem. But, you know, you just got to go with it. Christopher, thank you very much. I appreciate that. That's much appreciated today on Christmas Eve. Prime's not a joke. Jokes are enjoyable. Oh, that's very good. That's good. I should tell him that. That's really good. You can't be on a top bunk. Well, what do you call a cab over? That's good too. Your son Cameron is 11 years old and he likes Freightliners. I mean, once he gets old enough and drives a Volvo, he's going to like the Volvo better. So Cameron is going to be someone that enjoys Volvos after he drives one. Crew chief loves your Cascadia. I have a Cascadia. I like the truck. I'm not saying that. The shifting is the problem. The Volvo rides better, for one. The Volvo iShift, way better. The computer in it, 1,000 times better. When you get that red to green, the Freightliner has no idea. Oh, you're not stopping? I wonder what I should do. I've had it go neutral 6, neutral 3, neutral 2, and I'm just sitting there. I'm like, oh my God, the Volvo picks it up down the road. The sound effects, that's high quality stuff I'm doing right there. It must nice be kickback watching Truck Stop Chaos. Yeah, Rhino, I parked a few years ago in Wamsutter because I saw ahead, because I always have this on, that they were going to close the roads. Like ahead of me on 80, the roads are closed. I thought, oh, I better park. So it's still sunny or whatever. I'm parked in the Loves at Wamsutter. The place within a few hours packed in, trucks everywhere. I couldn't get out. I was there 2 days in Wamsutter. They were lined up like this in front of you all the way. You couldn't get out or anything. Nobody cared. But, you know, I was one of the first ones out at a regular parking spot. I had salt all around my truck and everything to make sure that I could get out once they got everything cleared. But, yeah, so I'm in there, you know. I'm not out risking my life or anybody else's life for the load. I don't think you should do that. Now, if you want to drive in it, you think it's safe, that's one thing. But don't be like, oh, I'm going to go because I've been driving. I'm not in for that. Florida uses a copper loop in the roof. Replace it. Oh, okay. That's super great for AM, FM, and CB. It works out better if you have your own antennas. 90 people. Well, thanks, Alvy. I appreciate that. I show more than that, too. So He shows 20, I show 45. So Volvo drives like a Cadillac, yes. Way better. Cameron is going to love it. The Volvo feels like you're floating. I like the headlights. I like the way it looks. I like the way it's set up in the truck. I'm a fan of them, but the mechanics hate them. And we only have one over there right now. And costs like them. That's what they say, right? They're expensive. You drive a Volvo because they're nice, but you wouldn't own one. I don't think I'd buy one. I think they're too expensive to fix. I'm sure that's a problem. Favorite trailer? I don't know. I mean, we pretty much have Wabashes, and there's some Great Danes here. They all seem to pull okay. I like Hyundais too. We have some Hyundai trailers that are all LED everywhere, and those are pretty nice. Yeah, Wamsutter, Adco. That's where I was, right? You'll never buy a truck. You'll be a company driver. I'm with you. I'm sticking with the company driver side. At the end of the year, we come out ahead that way. And no risk. No risk. Crew chief enjoyed the Volvo you drove years ago and have already had issues with your automated braking. Yeah, mine goes off. Every bridge and everything, it goes off. Drive under bridge, red light, collision alert. That's what it says, right? I don't like it. I don't like it. In the wintertime, here's something you should not do, which is take a piece of cardboard that is slightly larger than the thing on the front of the truck, the sensor on the bumper. Wrap that piece of cardboard in aluminum foil, and then wrap that up in like black, Gorilla tape, and then affix that to the front of the sensor. You shouldn't do that because it would prevent the sensor from working, and it would prevent the automated emergency braking from slamming your brakes on in the ice. But that's probably not safe, so don't do that. Don't do that kind of thing. You loved Volvos until it became Hippocrates. They took an oath, apparently. They're the ones that are trying to ban glider kits by furnishing the kit. I did see that they furnished the kit and go, oh, these gliders aren't any better than a regular truck emissions-wise and all that. Yeah, big companies are going to do that to try to hold on to their market. I'm agree with you on that. Volvo is yet to be recalled. I think there's recalls on Volvos. There are trucks for having cracked EGR system, was letting even more pollutant into the air than the pre-emissions. I'm not with the emissions thing at all, right? I don't care. Most people don't care. People buying the trucks don't care. Adco's never been in a Volvo. Well, you're missing out. You need to go get in one. Just right now, there's plenty of them going to be parked for the next couple of days with nobody in them. Just go get in one of them and go check it out. They're really nice. Knock first, of course. I mean, you don't want to get hurt, but there's going to be lots of them parked. Just get in there. Haters are going to hate. You got to drive one to love it. If I drove, I'd say best or worst Volvo. Yeah, I like them. Pete's, I don't like the long nose. Owning is basically the opposite unless you're a special application. Yeah, look, those long nose, I don't like it. I don't like a small cab. There's limited visibility. I've just never been a fan of that kind of truck. The more you drive on someone else's money, the better you like it. Exactly. That's exactly it. I mean, we can get paid for tomorrow. Most owners don't get paid for holidays. So they'd have to make that up also to see at the end of the year who makes more money. Some states take doubles seriously. I don't exactly know what that means. I mean, they run around everywhere, and I pulled those and Rocky Mountain doubles and stuff. They don't seem to be any different towards the drivers than anybody else that I've noticed. I haven't run them in a while. You have a glider with a C15 Cat, 575, yikes. No emissions, you burn more fuel, but then you drive more miles. So bring on the fuel, I'll burn it out. What kind of fuel mileage are you getting in a 575 C15 Cat anyway? If you travel 85 in Georgia, the TA is all that's available at exit 149. Love's will be opening a new truck stop. Yeah, there's been several Love's announced new openings, which is really great. The more parking, the merrier. Your company has a T680 for company drivers. Lease drivers get the Volvos. Right, Jody, because they want the lease drivers to pay the repairs and worry about all that stuff. So they let them lease a Volvo. And then they can charge them more by saying, oh, the Volvo, it's expensive. These Volvos aren't cheap, you know. You gotta pay more for this Volvo. Your man side, interesting, says $389 is the only way to go. But I hate telling people, but you like Volvos. Right, look, we don't have to tell him this. Volvo's way better than a $389 Pete, for sure. What does the Loves charge a night for parking? Yeah, that is interesting. And does your company pay for it? I don't like you like the hood? I don't like the long hood out there. I don't want it in the way of me doing stuff. On a good day, 6 to 8. 3 and then 3 to 5 on higher speed limits. Oh my gosh, you got to be making $3 a mile, sir. 8's pretty good. I'm pretty impressed at 8. So that, what do you have? I assume you have like a 13 speed or even an 18 speed in that truck. 389 is rough on fuel, but one of the best heavy haulers. If you're not buying the fuel right, it's a different proposition. But I think that buying the fuel at 5 miles to the gallon, I mean, how much money does that cost you versus 8 all the time? The filter wrench and glad hand air setup, you can have them on that pole in the back that sticks out way behind the sleeper, which I've seen some of them that have these long things. You're not a fan of low bumpers, right? We, a number of our Freightliners have that low bumper ripped off. It's got that section that goes beneath the bumper, gone, just screws there. It's only a few inches off the ground. I thought, when we got those, I thought, they are never going to stay on that truck. And sure enough, I would say half of them are gone now. Torn off by speed humps and stuff on the road. You run something over on the road that you can cruise over with the truck, it takes that bumper off. So I'm not a fan of those at all. Have I seen a glider Western Star? I don't see too many gliders, but we might see them every day and not know it. There's no way to know by looking at it. Can you get a higher setup on your Peter cart? Can you do that? Why? Yeah, you can get a full one on there. Loves has free Wi-Fi. Is it free Wi-Fi for everyone? And is it free Wi-Fi just for Christmas? Or is it for everyone all the time? And that's interesting too. How fast is it? If you have 200 drivers on there watching, I'm sure, educational videos at night, as they tend to do, what's the speed going to be on that Wi-Fi when you're out at the edge of the parking lot? Who runs that speed test? They have this Ookla speed test. You should download it. Everybody should do that anyway. And to run a speed test at this place and see what kind of speed we're getting where drivers are watching videos in their trucks that they tend to do. You know, the videos that they watch at night. But is the Loves Wi-Fi free for everybody? Because I'm in the Loves all the time and I haven't seen any signs like it's free all the time. And I fill up at the Loves every day. Not a fan of the new Freightliner drive fins. Oh, they scrape the burnt bottom. Oh yeah, that isn't a problem. They come off easily because we've same problem. A lot of the Freightliners, including my truck, they're gone. They bent up, cracked, and fell off. So don't worry about that. They're not going to be on there forever. The hubcaps are still on, but we've had a few of those fly off. I still have all of mine, but the top, those fin things by the drive tires, gone. They're way high. They're way high. So every trailer bends them, and then in the winter they crack and from the cold and they break off. So you don't have to worry about those being on your truck anymore. They're watching educational videos. Premium ad code. Premium is paid for. Hey Ryan, what do we have for transmission in this truck? I'm just curious on how we get 3 miles to the gallon. With a 575 cat, well, you must be going 85 miles an hour. Well, you would have an unlimited truck too. So that's the other side of company drivers, the speed limit. But if you're buying the fuel, it's okay with me. Just think at 5 though, what your difference would be in between 5 and 8 miles to the gallon in your pay, especially anybody that's considering buying a truck or whatever. That's a huge amount of difference in your pocket. Probably 3 miles to the gallon might be enough to buy you another truck every few years. So that's super serious. Do I ever get to Oshkosh, Wisconsin? I don't usually go that far up north. Have you seen the Swift and somebody else just like them with the 5,000 weight pounds? I'm not knowing where that sentence is going. Oh, which also rhymed. But no, I don't know what that exactly means. And Oshkosh, no, I don't do the north routes. So there are people that go up north, which I looked into M&N Cartage or whatever, and they had line haul that went up to Wisconsin, 575 miles a night at 62 point something cents a mile to start. A single drop and hook up there and came back. I thought, man, that's not a bad job. The boss put you in a 15 Cascadia ultralight, with a tag. Let's see how one drive axle does on Donner. So is it a liftable tag, or like we have some Cascadia Evolutions with a tag, but it is not liftable. So that's curious you bring that up. We have still a couple left that ours only drive the front axle. That's it. The back axle just tags along for the ride, but it is not liftable, which it was the biggest problem of the truck. These guys, I don't have one, right? These guys get stuck all winter. You can get stuck on just going over a hole. You can't drive the back axle on the truck. So the back axle just hangs you up over a hole. If the front tires aren't getting traction, you're finished because you can't lift that axle. Stupidest thing I ever saw in my life. Just ridiculous. Just ridiculous. Do I get consistent 8? Yeah, 8.3 lifetime on my truck. Yep. Volvo makes the best heavy equipment truck. Okay, I'll agree. It seems that Love's are the only ones expanding everywhere. All the other ones don't see growing. Love's has been like on this big kick to put out more truck stops, which is great. And I've always liked them. This is just even better yet. Do I get existential sometimes on the road? Oh, nice. That's super nice question, I'm sure. We all have those moments on the road. You can dump the rear bags, but it's not a lift. Okay, so it's just like ours. Dumping those bags is not as much help as you would think, and ours gets stuck all the time. Even the slightest snow, they get stuck all the time. You're not going to like it. We have on our trucks, there's a knob on the dash that you push in that locks the front axle so both tires turn. Do you have that as well? You asked the Swift driver that drives the 150 pound. Oh, that's right. Swift does have some heavy haul with the third axle on their tractors out west. And he gets 39 cents for that? Forget that. He should get 89 cents for that. Swift, look at how much more Swift is getting for that load. It's like 2 loads. Loves would be nice if they had laundry and a lounge. Some have laundry, and none of them have a lounge. What do I do about drowsy driving? Well, it seems like a flippant answer, but I say you get a good night's sleep. Vlad agrees. Right, nice. Warren Buffett invested. Oh, is that the problem? I love that guy. He runs Geico, which is my insurance. So, yeah, he's invested in Geico. I didn't know he invested in Loves. So he knows what we know, which is we're going to need more parking. Oh, and so he's building the parking for trucks. Very good. What gets 11 miles a gallon? Bobtails. Gear Grinder says his motorcycle. Yeah, my 71 Chrysler 300 I used to get around 11 miles a gallon. And that's about it, right? Bobtailing is going to do it. Even that Shell Specialized truck, got 10 something. Ivona says cats. Cats don't get 11 miles a gallon. Mine doesn't anyway, that's for sure. Nice, though. I totally agree. But we're working towards it. But there's not, because of all the money in it, I don't know. Goats. Yeah, if you rid yourself of a goat, that's extra weight. And so there's 2 ways, out the window or eat it, I guess. You have a remote that will dump the rear axle as well as raise the drive axle bags another 4 inches above normal height. Okay, so it transfers it. So you're driving we'll raise the drive axle bags. So you're driving the rear axle. You're driving the front axle and you put the weight on it. Nice. See, ours didn't have any of that. You'll do better than our trucks. Our trucks just simply drove one axle and without any kind of lifting or anything. And so any kind of irregular pavement, ground, they get stuck constantly. I'm like, why do you guys even buy these? And they're like, well, they were a discount. I'm like, you're all stupid. I use the AT&T home phone internet, $60 a month. Yeah, that'd be better. I probably wouldn't sign into these anyway. You don't know who's logged in or whatever. It's unsecured. I don't sign into any public Wi-Fi anywhere. Do I know Bobby Knight? Not personally, no. Yeah, send me. I'd like to see it. Right. It's probably just like our Cascadias. I am interested in that. At least yours will move some weight around. Ours didn't have anything in it to move the weight. And so in a little bit of snow, a little ice, when those front tire splits, that's it, because you can't drive the other axle. It's lifted up. When the one tires are worn a little bit more, it holds the front axle up a little bit. The front axle goes over a little bit of a dip in the road. And if you're going somewhere slowly, the back axle holds it up, and then you can't go anywhere. You're stuck. You're just spinning. It's the stupidest thing. The truck needs a winch on it, really. They need to add a winch to those trucks. 85 miles an hour at 3 miles to the gallon is really more than like 6 miles to the gallon. You don't want to get 3 miles to the gallon. It's no way is it worth it. It just can't make any money doing 3, not all the time. Unless you're getting $5 a mile or something for some load. I guess they would have to say, look, we need this load right away. We're going to pay you extra. Then I guess you could make a choice to do it. But holy mackerel, you can't make a living doing 3 miles to the gallon. There's just no way. It's like impossible. You like the Verizon with mobile hotspot is the best internet for being over the road. How about just using the one on the phone? I mean, that's what I always did. So you can just burn off the cell towers, and it seems to be okay that way. You're starting in May as a second chance company because of the minimal training after 4.5 years. You just want the experience back so you can move up to a better company. Well, I mean, Eccentric Pilgrim, which I love that name. May was on my list as crap company of the week. And, they make you buy the fuel if you over idle the truck. The pay's low. I'm just not a fan. The trucks are really slow. I just don't like it. There are places that are better, but you're already in it. So make the best of it and get out of it. May is not a company that they don't even really want experienced drivers. When you talk to them, they're like, they're really not even interested, which makes you know that they're only in for that. Get some experience. Since you're at May, they're on the West Coast, is where their Helm terminal is. If you're on the West Coast, get experience and call Central Oregon Truck Company and move over there. 85 miles an hour at 5 miles a gallon is really more like 10 miles to the gallon. Okay, you must be getting some of that eccentricity as well, right? If you can get 5 miles a gallon going 85, that's not bad. At May Trucking, their trainers can train with 3 months of experience. That's awesome. 90 whole days. So they have trainers there right now that started in the summer, have never driven in the snow, and their terminal is in Oregon. Oh, that's great. That sounds great. So the two of you can just figure it out together. It's just something that a company would let somebody train at 3 months of experience. I mean, gee whiz, you just figured out how to use the Qualcomm last week. You've only had one home time since you started at the place probably. You're like, I'm going to be a trainer. I mean, oh my gosh. I thought Prime was low on the training. That's even worse. They're a West Coast based company. It's West Coast mountains all the time. And don't have any snow experience. Maybe you lived in Florida or just started. What if you never went through snow at all? So now you have 90 days and you're like, here's a student for me. How do we go down this mountain? I don't know. I thought you knew. Yeah, I don't know. They're like pointing at each other. Who does what? Isn't there a book for this? Don't we have a manual for this? What's the manual say? That must be what they go. Maybe they call dispatch. What do we do now? How do we go down? It says 7%. I don't know what that means. Oh, does that mean I should be in 7th gear? I mean, look, companies, I don't know why they think this is okay. The money that accidents cost them is just ridiculous. Gear Grinder saying FedEx. Yeah, if you wanted to team, you could go over to FedEx. Or you can go to FedEx. They're local, right? Local drivers. Overtime past 8 and 40 at FedEx. I mean, you can't beat that. Overtime past 8 every day? Well worth it. Even if you got to do some dock time. $40 an hour on the dock. What's wrong with that? You dump the bags, you get worse traction. Usually the back axle is the drive. Act 2 axle is the lift axle. On ours, the front axle drove the truck. The back axle on our Cascadias were tags where we had those. And so if there was any kind of difference in tire height because of tread, the front would get stuck and it would just spin, and look, they're a disaster. There's no reason a truck should be like that. It didn't, and their trucks aren't getting any better mileage. So I don't even know why they got them. I don't know what it's saving them. Supposedly they're, you know, they're like, oh, it's going to get better mileage. It didn't. They're not getting any better mileage than the trucks like I have, which is a regular twin screw truck. So it's just a total mess. They're forever stuck. Fortunately, this winter hasn't been bad, so we haven't had to pull them out. If you're in the yard, they'll hook you up to it with a chain and pull it out because they have all the front hooks in the truck, so we can pull these trucks out. On the road, they call service. They have guys get stuck in docks that are on an angle because they can't get over the angle at the top of the dock because they get the one axle over, then the back one holds it up and they're stuck. So it's just ridiculous. Why they do that to save a few bucks? Because the people that buy the truck don't know anything about trucks. That's the real problem. It's just crazy. Stupid people. Oh, Amos, very good. Yes, at May, that might make you, they go, well, you're a trainer now. That's how they do it at May. And at May, they probably take that out of your check with the fuel surcharge that they take out of your check too, which is another thing you should watch for there when you go to May. They're making you buy the fuel. In 06, you had an 05 Columbia that you complained to the company it's getting 3.2. Oh, it had a Series 60. It should have done way better than that, right? In an automatic, they said it was normal. That's an early automatic. Those were pretty horrible. That's still, if they want to buy the fuel, then I guess I get tons of points. Of course, in 06, they didn't do as much of that. In May, 39 cents at 61 miles an hour. Oh, 4 hours before detention pay. Nice, nice. And mostly Portland to Denver. Well, good. You and your new trainer of 3 months can handle that. No problem. I mean, their trucks are really slow, too. So 39 is not the lowest in the industry, but that you can do way better. I mean, I don't know what to say. You're already there, so you're in it now. They give you 5 minutes extra on a 2,200-mile route. Yeah, get that there on time. Yeah, glad they're paying for the fuel. I agree. If they're want to pay it at 3 miles to the gallon, they might as well go buy a long-nosed Pete. You drove a tag like that once, Ivona. You quit when you found a new job. They're bad. In the winter, even in the rain, I mean, they're bad. You don't like it. The truck is maneuverable. Does not bind up when backing into a tight spot. That's not worth it. The new Peterbilt Ultra has 3 bunks. I've never seen that. Why would you need 3 bunks? You could haul a lot of people that work at night. I agree. I mean, why are there 3 people in the truck? Are these special made for England or something? Where they add all these extra students to the truck? I don't understand. You had a tag that was non-liftable at Conway and got stuck on a speed bump. Yeah, we get that all the time. Because you can't lift it, it's just ridiculous. Amos, right, exactly. That's not worth it. No way, man. Oh, Ivona, oh. You mean Canadians? You must mean Canadians. I'm sure that's what you were saying right there. Haha. Yes, where there's more than one person in a truck? Yes. For all the Canadian drivers that come here. Wouldn't carriers just move their headquarters to a state with the lowest minimum wage? That's what I'm thinking. Carriers with headquarters in different states would just have their moves say, oh, our headquarters is in whichever state it is that pays the least. That's how they will do it. Otherwise, they're just going to get like a corporation name in a state like Delaware or whatever, where all these companies do. Yeah, LV, look, I don't know why they do it. I don't understand the point of the truck. The extra weight that it pulls, you get stuck all the time. Over a single axle. It might as well just be a single. At least with a single, you got traction. You weren't getting hung up by your own truck. Vlad says, CR England trainers. That's what I'm saying. Everybody has their own bed. Now you don't have to spoon anymore. So although that might be a detriment to some people, they may be looking forward to that. It does have the LED headlights. Oh my gosh, those are the best. The high beams will melt the back of the head. I love those. It's worth it for the lights. All right, I'm in again. Because of those lights, it's super great. Those are the best ever. A third tag is good, but not a second. Yes. You can't, if you can't drive both axles, that truck is just ridiculous to have. There wouldn't be any trucking companies in California. Yeah, they'll just move they'll say their headquarters is Montana or wherever it is, you know, where they have a headquarters, even just a drop lot that has $7.25 an hour. Ryan, be for your co-driver. Oh, and right, to rest up. To somebody to rest up. Exactly. That could work out. That's the only way that you could make money at some of these companies is for three of you to team together. There's really no point to the third. But what are they going to? Are they hauling people? Oh, they can use that as their own crack hound. So they have this extra truck, this bunk, and so then you just get in that instead of even being crack hounded anywhere. Probably Arizona. Does Arizona have 725? Like here in Indiana, every state with the low wage, they're going to have a drop lot somewhere. Or they'll just get a P.O. box or something, a business box, and say, well, that's our headquarters there where we receive our mail. And then, so that would be easy to get around, I'm sure. That's why states form up in their corporations in low tax states and all that. That'd be easy. They would figure that out in 2 seconds. That wouldn't be any problem. There'd be every company would be based in Indianapolis, where they have all these training centers and stuff, where we'll never think about raising the minimum wage here. That's never going to happen in Indiana. Only when the federal government forces it on us will the rate go up in this state. That's for sure. Well, it's Christmas Eve, so I'm going to bounce out of here, as the kids say, bouncing out. It's been great to be here today. I'm glad all of you stayed here today, and that was really nice. I was wondering if anybody would be here today. But I want everybody to have a good holiday. I hope you get home. And I'll be on between 1 to 4 tomorrow. iPhone, yikes. She's out. Or he. Between 1 and 4 tomorrow. And you can always write to me, mark@truckinganswersnation.com. Oh, for the goat. I didn't think about that. Right. Yeah, that's the livestock corral up there, the top one. Put some hay out there. That's really good, right? But I'll be on just popping up tomorrow to see if anybody is out there. And if not, then I'll just pop back out. But otherwise, be safe. There's going to be a lot of crazy people today. And unless you're in Mexico with our friend down there eating goat, otherwise you're going to have to enjoy the day wherever you are. So, yikes, gear grinder, man. But on that note, I'm going to leave it at that. Thanks, everybody, for being here today. And people that aren't on tomorrow, have a Merry Christmas or whatever it is that you do tomorrow. Right? It's okay with me, whatever you do. Festivus was over. And we'll be back soon, of course, with more of these. Be sure to go vote for Crap Company of the Year as well. Right now, CRST in the lead. So, and you can vote more than once. Vote early and vote often. So go over there and we'll have another update on it as we come in live next Monday and tomorrow for some point in time. All right. Charlie, Merry Christmas to you. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I do appreciate everybody here. We'll see you soon on the next one. Be safe out there.